What's up, dog?
It's good to
Happy
see you, buddy.
Passover with all the Jews in the struggle. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, it's
It's
the
Tuesday,
worst.
the 23rd, I think. It's a beautiful day to be alive. What's happening, brother, man?
Oh, Passover, and we got into not a fight, but an argument with Action Bronson when he came on, because it's the Passover. Like Jews can make good food, but Passover is like it feels like a punishment when you're a kid.
I heard that
Passover is
brutal.
oh.
You might as well be in Papillon and they put you in the desert and might as well eat a roach than eat that fucking Jew food on Passover.
Oh, that
It won't even
fucking
give you heartburn. That's how bad it is. It's very bland. It won't even give you heartburn. You won't fart. You won't even know what in your system. It's like fucking, it's like California roll. You don't even know it's in there. It just goes in there and it disappears.
Oh, it. Have you tried gefilte fish? Have you ever had that?
Yeah, when I was younger.
You did? It's like hot dog fish, basically.
I think the Jews just eat peasant shrimp. Like I don't know if they have fucking like sushi. I don't know what was going on in fucking Jewville. I don't know if they didn't have fucking, albacore. They hit you with these fucking nasty fishes that you got to dope up. I mean, white fish I love. I don't mind the white fish with the mayo and all that shit, the cream. That's right. Not bad. I love the salmon. I like salmon from all directions. I like the bagel. I like the pale Jews who make it. But that shit, I don't think they give you brisket on Passover. There's no brisket.
See, my mom makes brisket. My mom, that's the one rule I have for her for almost every holiday is brisket.
Yeah, you're going to show up with crackers and Slim Fast shakes. I don't need that shit. Remember Slim Fast? You drink it, you wouldn't fart. Fucking that's you'd fart, but it was like this invisible fog. Like you'd go to reach to see how the Slim Fast is working. And there's no odor to the Slim Fast fart. Why drink a milkshake if you ain't going to get a little fucking... Let me tell you something. Our struggle with edibles. We don't have to lie to nobody, we threw it down. You know what I'm saying? Like, people like, he didn't do it. Yeah, shut the fuck up. People had no idea what was going on behind the scenes. So,
no.
Especially edible-wise. Like, because, we ate 2,000 when we got to the show, but what did I eat before that? When I got here, I was shaking like a fucking, So it's funny, honest to God, I've been very, very good. And it's like, I learned to sleep without the edibles. I learned to do a lot of stuff without the edibles, which is very sad because I wouldn't fucking go to sleep unless I took edibles at night. That was part of it. And I gave it a break, 3 years. I mean, I cut back way. And then there was a point there where I started eating them again. I'm like, I'm not going nowhere. I'm eating fucking 8 of these things, And I just said, fuck it. And then we started doing a podcast. And I said, let's do them on Mondays. Now, I've been dilly-dallying with them. Like last Monday, I think I did 100. You know what I'm saying? Like I've been just on the 400.
You've been taking it light.
And Thursday, I was about to fly. Now, since the pandemic, I haven't gotten lit up on a plane. Not even smoking weed before plane. It's hysterical. Today, as I was leaving Austin, I had a joint in my pocket. I left it right on the trash at the airport. Somebody comes in, the Pink Panther was there. So I always leave little joints and roaches at places and then see how they react. People react to them and stuff. Like, you never know. So Thursday I was leaving and I fucking go, you know what? It's 420 weekend. And I fucked up because I didn't bring the ABXs with me. I just grabbed 800 milligrams, like 4 of them. And
that's one day. That's only enough for a day.
Now, I didn't know, whatever. So I get to the airport. I'm a little scared of taking them. It's been the first time on a plane in fucking 4 years. So Ari's in Newark Airport and he meets me and I go, listen, Ari, I got to go grab a burrito, something to put in my stomach before I eat these edibles. So I went and grabbed the burrito. It was a fucking Arab guy with the turban. I'm like, I'm not even going to eat this thing. It's going to be terrible. I don't even know what I'm getting. As soon as I saw the turban, he's selling Mexican food. I'm like, where'd I go wrong? Where the fuck did we go wrong? I mean, people just say, but I tell you, I bit into the burrito because he had gloves on at least. If he had no gloves on, I would have just thrown it away. But he had gloves on and fucking, I took a bite out of it. Lee, it was the best braised beef burrito I ever had in my life. I had to eat my words. And I knew there was lamb in there, He's in there putting in fake lamb or some shit. I ate the whole fucking thing. And then I sat there and I was only going to eat 400 milligrams. And I said, fuck it, let's go for broke. So I popped fucking 600. And then I didn't feel nothing. So I popped the fourth one, right? By the time the little lunch came, I was fucked up. And I was watching that show, I don't know what it's fucking called, Gentlemen, on Netflix. It's fucking tremendous show, but this Chinese guy grows weed and there's an English guy, and it's just a fucking interesting show. But after 2 episodes, I just couldn't fucking take it no more. But I had back shit. When that little lady came up and she was like, this vest, I didn't know what she was talking about. You know, like when they show you the vest in the beginning with the blinking lights and the whistle in the air, I'm like, what is this shit?
Wait, here, I have a couple of questions.
Because
they do the vest at the beginning of the flight.
I was already fucked up.
I know, but you said you waited and didn't feel anything. How long did you give the first 600? 6 minutes?
20 minutes, 25 minutes. We got shit to do and people to see it. I had a movie to watch. You know what I'm saying? I got episodes. I got a Hulu.
So you didn't really give it any. Oh my God. And then
that was so high, I couldn't figure out the fucking email. I couldn't figure out how to go from computer to fucking, airplane mode. And I kept getting, I'm not the sharpest mode. Now I got fucking a batch of THC juice in my bloodstream, and I can't figure it out. That took about 20 minutes. But the clinker of the night was when that bitch brought 3 pieces of cheese and 2 crackers. That fucked me up. I'm like, who does this to somebody? This is like Jewish food. That's what the Jews do. They give you 3 pieces of cheese and 2 crackers. Now, when you're sober, you just eat the fucking thing. But when you're high, you're like, why would somebody short me on a fucking cracker? You know what I'm saying? And now you're like, how am I going to eat the cheese? Because they give you those 2 pieces of white cheese. You don't know what they are. But then they give you that dead yellow cheese that's fucking old, but whatever cheddar, Colby. And you definitely need a cracker for that fucking thing.
You need a cracker?
I just broke the cracker in half. I did some algebra, and I was happy the rest of the fucking flight. That's it. And I got to Boston at 8, and I was fucked up, Lee. And I got to my room, and I was taking a shower, and in the shower, I'm like, I am fucked up.
Really?
And then I went to Red Band's room, the Sunset Strip, because there was nobody at the mothership. And I was high till I got home. After I got off stage, the edible settled down a little bit, and I ordered like fucking 10 tacos. They were tremendous. Fucking bean and cheese tacos, Lee, oh my God. Took me right back to the fucking office. Yeah, steak tacos. Then Friday night at the mothership, fucking whatever, brought in barbecue, Terry Black.
Oh, nice. That's
a thing
great.
Of brisket, a thing of turkey, and a thing of fucking sausage. I didn't touch the sausage. The turkey was to die for. I wish I could have brought the tray with me. And I had some brisket. The brisket was so good and so thick. The next morning, Saturday morning, I got up and I had breakfast and I went for my morning walk and I smoked the number and I had to run back to the hotel because I had to take a shit, right? So I sit on this toilet. I know it's going to be deadly. So I don't even go into my room. I go right in the whole lobby. There's those nice bathrooms. And this is a great hotel. And the Moon Tower Comedy Festival was there, right? So I don't even know it's the Moon Tower Comedy Festival. I get there, I see Mark Maron, I see Brad Williams, I saw Roy Wood and Rachel Feinstein. It was great to see her. Todd Barry, it was great to fucking see him, one of my favorites. And anyway, I took this fucking dump at about 10 in the morning, right? And, this is a nice hotel. They got those porcelain tubs. But when I shot, it just went bang, and the whole toilet shot, right? Like it rattled. I'm like, what the fuck's going on? So I look at it. It was just like a 6-incher, but it was heavy. It had some meat to it, like a meatloaf. And it wouldn't flush. Do you know I went back in there like a 4 to pee, and the shit was still on the bottom, and it would refuse to flush. I must have stood there for 10 minutes flushing the toilet. I was so embarrassed. It wouldn't give in. This
was in the front lobby of the hotel?
Yeah. And it didn't smell. It was just, a fucking missile in there. It looked like a Zeppelin. in the toilet. It looked like a Zeppelin. That's what it looked like. And then finally, after like 20 minutes of flushing, it finally just, I don't know.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I left a little
Now,
piece of nicotine gum to let them know it was daddy. You know what I'm saying?
That's your calling card, the nicotine gum bandit. You're just fucking
So everywhere I
destroying
hang out,
bathrooms.
like if I go to jiu-jitsu, I look at the parking lot and there's all yellow gum. If I go to my gym, there's 20 yellow gums. That's the mark of the Cuban, the nicotine gum.
Jesus. And then I want to talk about you leaving, you not shitting in your room. Will you leave your room to go shit in the lobby? Like if you know it's going to be bad?
Well, you're downstairs already. Nobody goes to those bathrooms downstairs, just chubby professionals like myself that know about that hidden gem. I love hotel rooms, but there's two things I hate about hotel rooms. Going to the bathroom in a hotel room and eating in a room.
Okay.
I really don't like eating in a room. I don't like people in my room. I don't know who I hate worse in my room, guys or girls.
Oh, yeah.
I'd rather not have
I don't want
anybody.
anyone in my room.
When we do Vegas, it's a suite. So I would have everybody come up. You know, we would order room service and smoke weed. But
Oh, yeah, you have a living room.
Do you remember that?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
No,
Okay, that was a cool room.
It was, but it was a pretty great weekend. I'm really proud of Redman. He put something nice together down there.
Oh, nice.
And it was a nice club. I mean, it was packed. You know, I just didn't do well. I was clunky that night. I was still fucking high as fuck. I was high for about 7 hours.
Jesus.
Heavy, like those heavy 7 hours where you're like, oh, I had to question myself. When I would walk, I'd huff and puff from the anxiety. I was high.
How did you feel? How do you feel going on stage high now? Is it any different?
No, I didn't go on. That was the only night I went on stage on the edible. I didn't bring any other ones with me.
Right, no, but I'm
like, I don't want to fuck around yet. I got to get comfortable. No. I do a couple of hits with a joint. I didn't drink down there at all. You know, I really fucked it up. I didn't do acid this time. The acid was there waiting for me. There was mushrooms. I didn't do anything. I really wanted to focus on these sets.
And how did they go?
It took me 4 months to turn a page. I finally knew what was going on with me, why I was clunky, and it was very interesting. But the reason I called you last night was to talk to you about that scene. There was 1, 2, 3, there were 4, I knew a lot of comics, but there were 4 young comics that I had known in the comedy store in LA. And I watched them perform, They improved so fucking much. Hassan, the top with the fucking beard.
Hassan Ahmad, I think Hassan, I'm mispronouncing his last name. He has a podcast with Derek Poston. Yeah.
Just unbelievable. Opening up the room every night, confident. You see it and it inspires you. You're like, holy fuck, when I go up there, I can't be fucking around. And what came back into my comedy was the humanity factor. Since I only had 15 minutes, I was going up there trying to be fucking Rodney, and that's not going to work. That's not going to work. You got to slow them down a little bit, talk to them, let them know what's going on in your world, and then attack from there, piece them from there. It's like, so I figured that out after 4 months. It took me 4 or 5 months. But again, I'm not working 7 nights a week. If I would have been doing this but a second month, I would have figured it out, So it was enjoyable. I had a fucking great time, and I can't ask for anything else, man. At 61 years old, this is exactly what I want to do. And if that's where I'm going to do the residency next year, like in September, so be it. What can I do?
How do you feel compared to when you started? How do you feel about just the fact that you're doing it?
In January, when I started back up in January and started doing, I know who I am now and I know my place. I know I don't, listen, I had to find a happy medium like you always do in life. Just because I had a family didn't mean I had to quit comedy. Didn't mean it made me stop being a comic. Do you know what I'm saying? And in my mind for a while, I was like, you know what? I want to settle down. I read a lot of Led Zeppelin books, and when Robert Plant, when he lost his son, and after a long tour, they would just not talk to each other for a year or 8 months. So that was the first time I had done that. I know for a fact, Lee, I can't handle the plane rides right now. Work myself up to it, and go to my favorite places, but that's way down the line. That's way down the line right now. Right now, I just want to get my feet under me. I think after the pandemic, a lot of comics went right back from the pandemic to make money and stuff. And a lot of comics didn't have new material. They just went with it. And I think since the pandemic, I don't know, I think that we rushed back. I thought that comics would go back into, comedy clubs for 6 months and work on their craft. They went right back to theaters and stadiums. It was like nothing happened. So, I'm what's that word? I'm pretty much anchored. I know how I want to work this. I'm not sweating this at all. I'm not sweating this at all. I don't give a fuck what happens on stage. I'm going to be funny and I'm going to have a good time. And that's it. That's basically it.
And are you having a good, seems like you're having a good time.
Yeah, I had a really good time this weekend. And to be honest with you, I had a better time in the little room.
Oh, okay.
The little room really sucks the comedy out of you. It's small. It's really fucking developmental room. And I told Joe and a couple guys, I go, all I need is 2 weeks in this motherfucker. 2 weeks, 2 minutes a night. I tape it. I got 45, 40,
You think you would get 40 minutes in 2 weeks?
Out of that room. Yeah, because you go up there with no expectations. You don't even write the joke. You just write the premise and go up there with the premise and put it to yourself. Who gives a fuck? That's the discipline, And guess what? Those people that came on Monday saw that joke bomb. They giggled, but I didn't really get it. By Wednesday, if they come back, it's got life to it. If they come back the following Wednesday, it's almost complete. It may not be tied into something correctly, but I took down a bit. Do you know what I'm saying? I took down a bit I wanted to try this week. As usual, I pulled the Joey Diaz. I left my notebook on the desk.
Oh, you didn't bring it? Oh, no.
So I had to dip into the computer, and I'm not good with the typing jokes. It's just not me. I started writing them, and I remember them more if I fucking write them. I'm not going to say I can't write on the computer, but I didn't have my notebook. I didn't have my thoughts. Right. I thought of one topic I really wanted to dive into. And again, I didn't dive into it in the big room, but in the little room, it just popped up into my mind. I go, let's rock it. And I think I got 3 minutes out of the bit, and I taped it. And when I got home today after my nap, I fucking wrote it down. That was it.
That's good. For everyone out there listening, to do 40 minutes in 2 weeks. I know you're just talking, but like, even if it was 30 minutes in 2 weeks, is outrageous.
What I'm saying is, I would come up with 35 minutes in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Which would spawn into 45 in another week or so, 2 weeks. Because of the way this room, it's like the ice house. When we went to the ice house together, I didn't do jokes you heard before. We just ran on tangents. And those were the best nights we ever had. There was no pressure. They paid $20. They paid $20. $20. And I didn't give a fuck. Remember, I did New Year's in there.
You did
90 because it's a flowing room. When you're in those rooms, who gives a fuck about the money? You're getting thousands of dollars flowing from your head, which you never get before. And those are the rooms that you go up. They're a good audience. They're going to be good. But you're going to take a bullet and you're going to go up there and just say the premises. Fucking the Jews bombed Iran. Palestinians got a breather for a while. You know what I'm saying? The Palestinians will be able to eat again. Just little things that come into your mind.
Right.
And that's the beauty of this thing. I can't, after this weekend, I'm like, I was laying there Thursday night on the fucking edible juice in bed, and I'm like, I don't know if I'll ever get dementia. Because This makes you think. People think like I'm quiet and shit. I'm fucking thinking. When I'm at that club, listen, I don't want to get into a conversation with you. Like a deep, keep it light. How you doing? Good. How you feel? Great. How's your wife? Tremendous. Move on. Because I'm watching,
Yeah.
listening, and I'm thinking, which is very rare. But I'm not talking.
No, you're pretty quiet.
I'm not talking. There's no reason to talk. If I talk, I'm taking away from the energy from the crowd. I don't even get mad anymore before I go on stage. Like I was thinking about that. I don't throw tantrums no more. I don't call people names and shit. I don't yell at fucking Joe in the green room and fucking walk out yelling. He gets so happy when I fucking yell at people. You motherfuckers. I'm trying to focus on the set. You motherfuckers are talking about carrots or fighting. I'll fucking kill you. And people are like, what the fuck is up with him? And they don't know that as I walk out, after I call them all cocksuckers, I'm giggling because at least I got my thinking up and I got fired up. When I come back, they're like, we knew what you were doing, motherfucker. You insulted us. Just get funny up there.
Would you go from like zero, like silent, to just screaming at people about like whatever they were talking
sit
about?
there and listen to you talk stupidity for 35 minutes while I'm trying to focus on a fucking joke. And all I hear about is whatever topic you're beating the bones. And I want to go to the Netflix is a festival thing. I believe, listen, just be funny. That's it. It's 20 minutes of fucking, how did you feel when you shut the fuck up? How did I feel? I was just happy to be alive. I was on stage and they were laughing. How do you think I fucking felt? Like fucking Madonna with a knee brace on? I felt fucking great.
And it's crazy that you say like it reminds you of the like stage 2 at the old Ice House. And I'm sure it's great now, but those Wednesdays, because we did them for years, like off and on, but like must have done at least
twice a month.
Just
we were doing twice a month. I did maybe 2 New Years in there. I don't like big New Years.
No, but those shows,
people a New Year's fucking show, expecting a fucking bottle of shitty champagne and some fucking party favors. So it has the right for the club to charge you $200 because you're gonna spend that shit like this. Are you fucking retarded? Listen, just give me the small 25. We'll start the show at 7:30. I'll get you out by 9:30. You'll be at the coke dealer's house by 10. Headed to a party by 10:30. And you had a good time. You giggled. The girl giggled. I love that shit. But the big production, I'm gonna do a countdown. What am I, Dick Clark? Get the fuck out of here. I'm terrified. I don't even like the fucking countdown. Those are New Year's up there, and people dug them. 7:30. 7:30. Let you out into the fucking horizon. Let's take a picture. You have a cocktail, and you could either go home, make a reservation to eat. I loved all that shit. I'd hate that second show.
On New Year's? You didn't really do second shows at the Ice House.
What happened?
You didn't, at least in the small room, you didn't really do second shows. It was one show a night, and I'll put those shows up against any kind of and I've seen you at all over the country. I've like the store you were always great at, but that room in particular, because there were 2 rows. There was a table row, I think maybe 2 table rows, and then the back area where they were against the wall. So it was 3 rows of people with 80 people in a tiny space. And it was just I don't think I've ever laughed harder than those nights. Those were great shows.
People have no idea. As a young comic, everybody wants to strive to the arena and shit. But if you do comedy and you consider the audiences, listen, man, I grew up on listening to albums that had 200 people in the audience. They were taped at a fucking restaurant. You could hear the Forks. Listen to an old Pryor album. Listen to an old Red Fox album. Listen to an old the white dude. Not the
Lenny Bruce?
No. Even Lenny Bruce. You would hear people eating and drinking, and you could hear the cigarette smoke, and you could hear the cigarette smoke. That's how thick it is. If there was 150 people in the room, 180 was smoking. You know what I'm saying? 30 women probably pregnant, and they were fucking smoking. They didn't give a fuck. But yeah, I grew up on that, so that's what I really admired. Just walking into a restaurant, people have their dinner. It's like one of those clubs from Goodfellas that Club Bamboo, where they used to hang out with the lamps.
Right.
Go up there, very professional, not looking like a bum. You know what I'm saying? Like you put a nice shirt on, a jacket, whatever. You do 45 minutes. You could take them wherever the fuck you want. That's why Richard Pryor and those guys were so dirty on those. You could take them wherever the fuck you want. And the people have a good time. You have a good time. And on top of that, you look at your tape recorder and go, there's 4 fucking new jokes on there.
That's crazy that you said. Cause I had a show like that this week too. It was like
always Thursday night.
It was one of the best shows I've ever had. Like, because I've only done 50. I think this was my 4th time. And so, like, it's basically every joke that I've ever written that I like. Not exactly, but close. And it was the first time, not saying I, like, killed, but it was the first time, like, I didn't really have, like, a lull in, like, the 50. Like, I kept the jokes flowed. I did them in a good order. I interacted with them a little bit. I wrote some jokes about the city first. Someone walked in and I talked to her for a minute. And like, it was probably the best, like, quote unquote headlining set that I've ever done. It's not, it was a brewery, like an hour and a half outside of Worcester, which means it's almost 3 hours outside of Boston. So it was in a great area, but it just was super cool for me to be able to do that.
You know, you stretch from time to time is good for the soul. But, you know, like, again, like I said, everybody wants to be a fucking headliner.
Oh, no.
So you go for those 20, 30. Right now you did 50. You know you could do 50. You don't want to put yourself in a predicament of doing 4 of those because you know you're going to go 2 for 2. And those clubs on Friday late shows, they're fucking hell. And Saturday late shows, when you're starting out, they're hell. And then you don't know how to control the early show because they're too conservative. So it's a very tricky. That's why I'd rather you learn that doing 20 and 25 because you don't know. You're doing 2 for 2. And if you bomb the food show Friday, you feel fucking terrible.
Oh, I'm not. I think, honestly.
And you fucking go, what am I going to do Friday night late? And then you know, like I told you see me eat a bag of dicks for 4 shows. Then the late show Saturday, I went off. I finally figured it out in Cobb's. You know, we've been there for all those experimentations. So that's what's good about it, man. But it's fucking Passover. I hope these motherfuckers don't start no problems and shit. I hope I don't have to go into the fallout shelter this week.
Oh, Jesus.
They were talking about it on Sunday, you know, that fucking on World News Tonight. I was watching the fucking Dallas game. And all of a sudden I went into World News Tonight, and that was the first story. I only watched the first 2 stories. And then I got anxiety. You know what I'm saying? What do I give a fuck about, you know?
No, you don't need that in your life.
But Austin was pretty neat. I figured out why. Listen, the comedy scene down there, it's a great scene to develop. It really is. And I forgot they do a couple festivals down there every year. So it makes everybody put you up somewhere. You know, it's like the Netflix special. They're doing a couple of shows in a church. They don't give a fuck. You know? And it was pretty interesting to see the city has grown, a lot of homeless, you know. But I like what they do on 6th Street. You know, I don't know how long it is, but they close it off. And you can walk in the streets. You could, you know, they have tacos. They have all this shit. You're watching bands. You're watching, you know, balcony parties, and at least the city keeps you contained. If there's a problem in the city, 62% it'll be down there. And there's so many cops on every block and cars and shit, they'll contain it, you know. I like that. I couldn't believe how close it was from the Mothership to the Sunset Strip to the Moody Theater to Anton's where they were doing the Moon Tower parties. I mean, it was really... I get it. You know, it's a great place if you want to do comedy. And you're not, if you're going down there to get into the Mothership and think your life's going to change, that's not the attitude. That's not the attitude. Because then you're going to be, there's so many young comics trying to get in there. And I don't have to tell you what that's like. So you back off. You wait for the fucking cloud and then you go in there when you have the right time. But there's just, that's it. They have a ton of clubs, which everybody speaks well of. But you could tell that it's like anything else. In LA, everybody wants the Comedy Store. People will give their arm to be at the fucking Comedy Store, and for some people, it's a reality. And for some people, they'll be, like Ari, he auditioned 18 times.
And do you think Austin would be a good place to go for like a newer comic, or do you think you need to be like in LA and New York that you have to be kind of seasoned before you go to Austin?
I think it all depends on what you want to do and where you look at yourself as a comic. If you were like me when I had 3 minutes, it's not the place for me to go. I was not good to go down there. I would have got laughed out of that town in 3 weeks. You should have 15, 20 minutes. You should always be writing. By the time you get to Austin, you're not a professional comic yet because you're not making a living. What you are is up and rising. You're writing every day. You've found yourself a job that'll put enough money on the table so you can survive and pay your bills in Austin. You got a chance to do, if you want to do comedy. Those people, I really want to get down there, but I don't have my wife. Listen, you don't want to do comedy. Knock it off. But like me in 91 to 95, no wife, no responsibility, no kids, no nothing. What do? You get on stage every fucking night. 2 shows a night. Bah, bah, bah. And all of a sudden somebody will go, hey, come here every night and open up the 8 o'clock show. Whoa. Yeah. There you go. A little step becomes a big step. I'm here opening up every night, doing 15 fucking minutes. Before the show gets started, before the night gets started, I got a set every night that pays me $25. That's $125 a week. Yeah. Already I'm rocking and rolling. Now, next month, I'm going to make $135 a week somewhere. And then you look at it, money, you can look at it from, this is how funny I want to be, or you can look at it in time. I want to do that when I have my 30 minutes. I want to do that when I have my 45 minutes. So it's pretty interesting. Those are the comics that go there and they're already working it. Like they're working it. They're not making, it's like seeing Stanhope in 91, 93. He had done the evening at the Improv.
Okay.
Started when I first met him, he was featuring. The second time I saw him, he was headlining. And I could tell that was it. He was in the rotation. Was he ready to go to Hollywood? Not at all. But he was headlining triple runs and he was on the rotation. Boom. What that means is he drinks, he gets up, he writes, he drinks coffee, he smokes cigarettes, and he gets on stage at 8 and just destroys the audience. And he does it every night without hesitation. Lived in his car, had a big hanger in the back where you would hang your clothes and slide it over. He had committed to who he was. And for a guy like me, it was fucking inspiring.
Yeah.
I'm like, we can live in his car. I'll fucking live in my car. If it means for me to make money and save on rent and not have to pay for a hotel, I don't give a fuck.
Damn,
I'll take the $55 they give me for the hotel, stay in the car, sleep outside the hotel, and go in there at 8 and take a shower and swim in the pool. I'm going to be a little, my back's going to hurt from sleeping in the car. But this is what you need to do. Whether you want to snort coke or sleep. I'd rather snort coke and jerk off in the car and look out the fucking door with, whatever. I mean, but you're out there.
Yeah,
You're on that thing. You're just writing, performing, meeting, crashing at people's houses, But to do that, you can't be calling home every day and going, hey, honey, I'm in Iowa. It's working out.
You don't think so?
Damn.
It must be rough. Like I see like people living in their car and doing all that shit. I really do love comedy. Living in my car is that I don't know. I don't like. Could you have done that at 35?
I did it
at 35. Wow, fuck.
Remember, I got into comedy at 28. By 95, I was 32. In 98, 99 LA, what was I? 37, and I was sleeping in my car outside Josh Wolf's apartment. But I was at the store. I was at the store. I had a place to take 2 showers a day. I could take a shower at the Comedy Store at 9 and take a shower at Josh's at 6 or Ralphie May's. We had a community. Just because you had an apartment didn't mean you were rocking and rolling. You needed something, and I could help you, and you could help me. And when I look at that point in my comedy career, I talked about it in the book, how, dog, we had a big support, and it was funny. They knew I took buses to gigs, and they would make fun of me. You know, what time is your bus? You know, I mean, it was, but everybody helped somebody give me a ride to the bus.
That's great. And hey, like, not all of them, but it seems like most of your good friends from today come from that time in comedy.
Well, you know, Josh Wolf, Ralphie May, rest in peace. You know, Doug Stanhope was a big inspiration to me then. We lived in a 4-block radius. You couldn't, you know what I'm saying? So when you were walking, you were dropping in people. I would drop in fucking Ralphie's, bother him for an hour, smoke his weed, then go over to Josh Wolf, try to steal a turkey burger from him. You know, and then there was somebody on the other block, I forget who the fuck that was. Well, Mitch Hedberg was there, but I only played tennis with Mitch down at Gorky Park. I never really hung out with Mitch and Nick DiPaolo. They lived in that building across from where Ralphie, was it? No, the other one, Sierra Bonita. But it was a community. People weren't laughing at you because you lived in your car. They kind of looked at you and said, what the fuck was up with this guy?
And do you see that happening in Austin now? Not people living in their cars, but like the group of comics that's there.
In that car. Brian Simpson was living in his car. He just has a Netflix special on Netflix. Hans Kim was living in his car when they went down there. And not in a fucking Range Rover or Testarossa. They were living in a fucking, you know, Tempo that their grandmother gave them. You know, they just, guys, it's just the weirdest thing where you put everything else behind you. People will never know that feeling. It's a feeling that, it's a lonely feeling, but at the same time, you become invincible for having that power to do that. Like, I don't give a fuck about society. It's got nothing to do with what I'm doing. I do not have a wife. I do not have a child. My mother's dead. My father's in a nursing home with dementia. He don't even know who I am. Every time he sees me, he calls me Chico. You know, it's fucking, you know. So what do? You tell me you want to be a comic. Yes.
Right.
I can't wait. You know, okay, well, this is your opportunity. Yeah, but my friends, I'm going to miss them. Your friends will understand that you're going for your dream. Don't come back here in 10 years, a loser, and then tell your friends what happened. If you do that commitment, you're not going to come back here a loser. You're going to come back here a fucking winner. You know, when you have the ability to give everything up. I mean, I was at the point I gave my health up. My health.
Right.
I didn't give a fuck about my health. I didn't give a fuck about lifting weights. All I gave a fuck was about moving from the 1 o'clock spot to the 12:30 spot at the store and what I needed to do. I had no agents. Nobody wanted to rep me. Montreal, all those people didn't want to talk to me. So I had one job to do, and that was to move from 1 a.m. to 12:30 at the store. And then from 12:30 to follow the 12 o'clock spot at 12:15, which was Paul Mooney. And then now on a Friday, she puts you up at 10:45. Don't get too excited. It's not going to be forever. But you follow me? Those are the little successes that you have to look at. And it's your mindset. You know, it really the mindset that you have. Just because people aren't knocking on your door doesn't mean you're failing. It means that you need to fucking turn up the heat. You want people to knock on your door? Turn up the fucking heat. It's all in your mind, you know. Real quick, let me take a breather. Speaking of your mind, I want to talk to you about BetterHelp. We'll be back in 30, 60 seconds. I don't know. Take your time. We're back, bitches. If you're having problems Go on to BetterHelp. They'll help you out. I had problems when I moved here. BetterHelp helped me out, and they gave me
Me too.
exercises to work with. And guys, here we are. But it is what it is. But yeah, listen, commitment in anything. It makes me sick when somebody tells me they want to do something, and 4 weeks later you bump into them and they got a fucking sob story. It makes you fucking sick to your stomach. And eventually it makes people sick to their stomach to the point where they won't go up or they'll move with. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of fucking weird, the balance you have to have. So whatever, whether you're an artist, whether you're a fucking, a contractor, and you want to be in like customizing cabinets and all that shit, you don't get good customizing cabinets by reading about it. No. You don't get good from watching shows. You get good by installing them, fucking them up, costing yourself money, putting a hole in the wall because you didn't measure it right, painting it the wrong color. After 3 or 4 years of that, you either going to quit or you elevate. You become this fucking, when I remember when I was roofing in 1991, my brother-in-laws were fucking geniuses. They had been roofing since they were kids, and now they were in their 30s. And I would go on the roof with them and see what they did, like the pipes and shit, and my heart would stop. Like, fuck, how good are these guys at what they did? They didn't get that good by taking classes. They got that good by being on a roof every fucking day for 10 years.
And I had some work done at my place, and I was talking to this old wood guy. I'm carpenter, and he was talking about at the beginning when like he was starting, and they had him clean up and do like hard stuff like that for like a couple of years, and he was talking to his owner years later about like what he looks for in someone who like to like know that you're ready to do something, even if you feel like you're ready. He said like the people who were too eager to like, let me show you what I can do, it took them longer to go in. He said the people who would like ask him questions and like weren't always like the most certain right away moved along a little faster.
It's really weird how it works, man. It's like I see it in jiu-jitsu. The guys that come in and fucking gung-ho and they're at every class, and all of a sudden you don't see them anymore. What happened? They broke their fucking clavicle. They wanted to come in here and wrestle these fucking gorillas, and they weren't ready. And then do they come back?
Right.
But then you get the guy that comes in twice a week and very unassuming, non-athletic, never fucking lifted a weight. He only played ping pong. That's it. Non-athletic. And he comes in there, and that's why jiu-jitsu's for nerds. That's why jiu-jitsu will always throw you off, because I see muscle guys for years, and all of a sudden there's this guy, he takes his glasses off. He's got computer fingers, he still has his pen carrier and his fucking shirt. This guy's choking motherfuckers. He's technical. The other guy's using his strength. Who's going to last longer? The guy that's technical. The guy that has it down, and how do you get technical? By fucking showing up, But, a lot of shit's been happening in the news. Anything stick out for you?
Oh, dude, I saw something, and I don't know. I saw this thing from New Mexico where they arrested this guy, and the cop was on horseback, and he was trying to get the guy to stop. This guy had just stole like a couple $100 worth of stuff from Walgreens, and the cop was going at him. Like, did you ever get stopped by like a cop on a bike? Like, this guy wouldn't stop for like 5 minutes.
A cop on a bike or a horse?
Horse. The guy in New Mexico was on a horse.
You get stopped by a guy on a horse. It's like, just shoot yourself right there. Ask him to give you your gun. Give me the gun. I just got on a fucking horse. I think the best story of the week was the guy that left Florida, drove to New York, and lit himself on fire in front of the Trump trial. That is brilliant, that you get in a car and go, you know what? I'm driving 18 hours to go light myself on fire here. This is going to be perfect. Guy took no edibles. He didn't take anything. He didn't leave a note. to Ali Osbar. He didn't leave a note to fucking nobody. He just went up in front of the courthouse and lit himself on fire. He just died 2 days ago. Rest in peace. I feel bad for him, but not really. You know what I'm saying? Not really. You're going to fucking drive 18 hours to light yourself on fire, you goofy fuck. What were you thinking? You know what? I'm going to tame it down a little bit. Maybe I'll just light a fire instead of turning myself on fire. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I'll just get some newspapers and throw some gas on it and light them on fire and throw a yarmulke in there so they'll blame it on some crazy Jew guy and run away. Not this fucking guy. He went there and lit himself on fire. And I'm like, does mental health, should he have contacted BetterHelp? See, that guy never listened to the podcast. If he would have contacted BetterHelp, he wouldn't have had these fucking problems. But no, he just didn't get advice from anybody. You call BetterHelp and you go, listen, I'm thinking of driving up to New York City from whatever hellhole in Florida I live in to light myself on fire. They'll really help you. That's what BetterHelp fucking shines. You know what I'm saying?
It's crazy when you drive. I forget how, but I think it was to Florida, like to or from Florida. This like astronaut drove. She like wore a diaper, and then she went to go kill like her ex-husband's, or maybe she kidnapped somebody. This was like from 10 or 20 years ago. Do you remember this? This like it was an astronaut, like a lady drove for like 20 hours.
Not really. Last astronaut I remember blew up in a fucking rocket ship thinking she was going to go to the moon in '86.
That was from here. They have a thing there. Andy, can you look that up? I'm almost positive that like she drove like 20, like she wore a diaper. She didn't want to stop once. She stopped for gas. It was fucking crazy.
A diaper.
I can't. Yeah.
You know what? That she's thinking with a clear head. I can't be mad at her. That's what I should do when I go up north. Put a diaper on so I don't have to stop every 5 minutes and piss in the bottle. Make believe I got a flat and put the hazards on. I'm over there pissing, fucking hiding from satellites out there where they killed that guy from The Godfather in the swamps. I pass that place all the time and I got to pee and I'm like, Jesus Christ. Jesus.
You get mad? Do you ever do anything to like the gas stations that don't let you pee? I hate when they don't let you go into the bathroom.
I don't ask them. Why would you ask somebody to let you go pee? I'll go to the back and make believe I'm on the phone, take my dick out, pop it right there, close the door so the pee particles don't go into the car. I'll sit real close and I'll sit on the fucking thing and put my dick crooked and pee and then avoid my foot, make like a sweeping turnaround so it doesn't hit my foot. And I get back in the car. I don't ask no. Listen, if I don't have to walk into a gas station, I won't. I just make sure I'm not 500 feet from a school because next thing you know, I got to go to the post office and fill out paperwork because I was taking a pee.
Yeah.
That scares the shit out of me that I'm going to be taking a pee one day and cops going to pull up and all of a sudden I got to register as a fucking sex offender because my dick was out, in the back of a fucking supermarket. The funniest thing happened the other day on a flight. The guy next to me was the biggest, blackest dude I ever saw. It was just me and him.
Okay.
And he's sitting next to me, and we both passed out on the flight back from Austin. I fucking didn't sleep that night, so I just passed out on the plane. And I woke up, and about 10 minutes later, he wakes up. I'm sitting there like fucking wiped out. And he goes, can I go to the bathroom? And I go, fuck, I got to get up. And I had been sitting since the plane took off. So I was tight, He comes back. I go pee. I come back. I sit down. All of a sudden, a little steward guy comes over and he's like, you guys hungry? And he goes, yeah, what do you got? And the guy goes, we got waffles left. They might be a little soggy. He goes, what do they got on the waffles? And he goes, raspberry and a little bit of marshmallow. He goes, I don't do marshmallows. So I asked him, I go, you don't do marshmallows? What's the problem? And he goes, I'm Muslim. They got pork in them.
Oh, shit. I didn't know that.
Yeah, you can't eat Jell-O either. They have that silicone, that pig lining, whatever. I don't know. I read about it like 20 years ago. I forgot all about it. When I was in Camp George West, a lot of the guys couldn't eat that either. And I would go, why not? And they go, well, Muslim. But it was pretty interesting. I forgot. And then
I feel like that.
What?
That's like the quickest you've made a friend in years. Just a guy saying, I don't do marshmallows.
I don't do
You must have
marshmallows.
loved him immediately.
Right away, I was like, oh, shit. And I'm right when she left, I go, what's the problem with marshmallows?
Oh, fuck. I was gonna ask you that. Did you like? Have you ever on the road like had like a chef ever like done anything cool for like? Do you have any like cool food stories from being on the road?
Man, the reason why comics like the road, especially in the beginning, like I wasn't, it's like I was talking to you about staying local. Stay
Mm-hmm.
local. Run your local first. You don't want to be a man without a fucking flag. It's not going to work. Eventually, you're going to have to do this, so do it now.
Right.
But I was doing triple runs, and it's not like you're going to Austin or you're going to Dallas. You're going to towns where they have one movie theater.
If that.
And when you're there, you're a fucking celebrity. Like there's 200 people at the show and you don't have a credit.
Right. Because they come every week.
Yeah, they come every week, So the people I met on the road, like that first year, it was amazing. It was really amazing. Like the people you bump into and they're like, hey, what are you going to do tonight? Was I telling you about driving 14 hours to do a showcase? I didn't have enough money. And my friend had to lend me a car from National Rent-A-Car and give it to him. At the time, I was working for National Car Washer. And my other buddy lent me $200. And I remember I was going down there to sleep in my car. I left like a Thursday night, and I got down there like a fucking Friday afternoon, tired. Excuse me, I slept like 6 hours in the car. And I get to the show that night. I got to take a little Puerto Rican shower in the sink in the back, and put mousse in my hair. And I went up there and I did okay. And then the second show I did okay. And I started talking to one of the guys. He goes, you sound like my uncle from New York City. And we started talking. And at the end of the night, they're like, what are you going to do? And you're like, I don't know. You try not to tell them that you don't have a place to stay,
Right.
I don't know, and they're like, I might go get a hotel. And they're like, no. We got a basement. Come on over. Comics come over all the time and sleep. You smoke pot. And then tomorrow we'll go fishing. And then tomorrow night we'll come do the show. And you're like, what the fuck?
That's awesome.
First couple times that happened, you do sleep with one eye open.
Right.
What the fuck is this? But then you're like, okay, this is the road. And something good always happens. No matter what happens that's bad, something good will always happen. You could hit a deer and ruin your car, but on the way back, the tow truck driver's got a house and his mom is cooking, and you're like, wow. This guy doesn't know me from Adam.
Do you think that still happens now?
Yes. People are good. People in those small towns are very good, like judges of character. They're all Christian or whatever. And it's just, I still remember like having no dough and being all the way by the Canadian border. And we used to get checks in the mail in those days. It was all out of your pocket. You picked up a little bit of money for gas here. And I remember like this family came to the show and and I was with my friend Jody, and they go, no, check out of the hotel at 1. We'll talk. We knew they knew the people at the hotel. Check out at 3 and come over. We're going to cook that fish, pollock, whatever they eat up there. And they did. And here's me and Jody at these people's fucking family celebration, eating fucking paddock, whatever the fuck that fish is. And and then the guy goes, oh, we need a place to stay. And he goes, I'll call the hotel. They'll give you a room for $20 a night. And we stayed there till Tuesday. Here we were thinking, fuck, we're going to have to sleep in the same room, be uncomfortable with a girl. $20 a night. It was $40 out of our pocket. We stayed there till Tuesday and got out of there Tuesday. It's really good like that. It really teaches you about humanity. And this happens in Boston. If you go to Boston and I'm headlining and I'm from Boston and all of a sudden you're like, I'm good friends with Josh Wolf. I'm like, oh, fuck. All right, where you staying tonight? You're like, I don't know. Come over. Come on. My wife's there. I got a basement. Stay downstairs. You can watch TV. We'll smoke dope. And you're like, I just saved $100.
When you're only making $100, yeah.
No, when you only make, like right now, features are not getting a hotel room.
No.
Why are we, that means you lose $1,000 to go out there and prove your point and not get anything in return. I'd rather you, and listen, you need to go out in front of real audiences from time to time to see what you got, to really make adjustments in your game. But if you're not, there's a level that you're just killing yourself to live because you're just making enemies. You're going around the country just bombing, and they don't know what. At least I was keeping my bombs in the Midwest.
Got it. Okay.
I was keeping my bombs in Nebraska and, where did I bomb a lot? There was one state where I just did like
Iowa?
a bomb tour. Not Iowa, the other one.
Idaho.
Michigan. No, Idaho, I just got arrested.
You did well there.
Huh?
You did well, but you got arrested.
Yeah, there was one state. Nebraska. It was Nebraska.
Okay.
It was Nebraska. Ogallala. I went through because I used to work for this company. That's what they booked. And they co-headlined me. I did like 3 shows and they got all bad reports. I was like 0-3.
Fuck.
And then
Did they fire you?
No, they never fired me. I knew it was embarrassing for me, but I didn't consider myself a co-headliner. They did. My tape wasn't even a long tape. It was like a 20-minute tape. And they're like, you're a co-headline. I go, really? Okay. But he was also like a puppet act, and his wife was the assistant. So once I found that out, I'm like, that's not really good for the ego right there. That a puppet act that's not even a good puppet. It's not like Otto and George was the fucking puppet act. This guy was like a terrible puppet act. You could see his lips move and shit. He had a wig, everything you didn't need as a comic. This motherfucker showed up with.
And he's telling you that you weren't good?
No, he made me a co-headliner. He owned the company. There was a guy named Tribble. Dave Tribble controlled the zone. And then this guy had like the real Midwest, Iowa, Nebraska, South Dakota. He had that. And he gave me his real thing was Nebraska. Minnesota. He had the lower end of Minnesota because the lady who had Minnesota then liked me, so I couldn't do Minnesota. She gave me like Marquette College. I was just talking, I forget what this woman was. She was a good lady. Her daughter was her assistant, and she used to book the club in Milwaukee. And the people who ran the club now are the owners of the Comedy Cabana in Myrtle Beach.
Oh, shit. Okay.
When they opened that club, I was there for the 4th of July for Black Biker Week.
How did that go for you?
A black biker. No, it was okay. I mean, it wasn't like there was brothers at the comedy show. They're down there shaking their asses on a bike with the sisters with the thongs on the bike, but it was great. And then I became friends with them and I kept going back. I went down there about 8 or 9 times.
And like looking back at it, do you think that the booker who booked you as a co-headliner should you have said, let me feature?
I didn't really know, Lee. At the time, it was 94 and I was doing well. I didn't have a lot of time. I had like maybe 35. And maybe 20 of it was solid. I'm not going to lie to you. And he told me, just do what you can. But I was also doing shows that weren't co-headliners. Like when I got there, they weren't there to inspire you, whatever. I was very low key, so I would go up first. Okay. Get out of the way, because I was throwing 50-50. I didn't know what I would do up there. I didn't know if I was going to talk to the audience. It was so unorganized back then for me. But I was organized to the best of my abilities. But because I like to riff, it wasn't working. And by coming to New York, I started talking to the audience, which is the worst fucking habit you could pick up, because once you start going to the really good markets, you can't do that shit.
Right, you can't talk, especially in like the middle of nowhere. But like what I was saying is like looking at like now if I let's say I got offered that, should I just tell them no, mate, let me feature instead of
No,
co-headlining?
no, it's Nebraska. It's the Midwest. Ain't nobody even going to
Okay.
remember your Jew ass when you leave there, whether you do good or bomb. So that's how I looked at it, I think. I was like, well, yeah, it's Nebraska. Nobody's going to see me. It's not like,
Okay.
I'm not saying nothing bad about Nebraska. I'm just saying
No.
nobody's going to see me. Nebraska. That's why I always really loved the tribal concept because it
Yeah.
really battle tested you. Like I'm from New York City and I was in fucking Idaho and Montana and, all these places that I'm like, I'm not going to do well.
No, you never had because I'm so jealous of triple runs. I would love to do something like that. And like so I usually find if it's in the middle of nowhere, like the shows are better. Like those audiences are better to me.
But you'll get there and you're in the middle of this dream. You're a fifth-year comic. You're featuring. And all of a sudden you look at the schedule and you are in Iowa, but you're doing a bowling alley.
Yeah.
After a kid's choir goes up on a Thursday night. And you get to that bowling alley and there's no green room. There ain't no
No.
pretty girls. It's a chick with an eye patch that's serving you. Same chick that gives you the shoes when you got in there. She's making sandwiches and she's making cocktails. I remember doing The Longest Yard, dog. Here I'm like, fuck. I just came out of a movie with Adam Sandler. I didn't look at the schedule. At that time, I had a small-time booker who said, let's do a trial run of like 6 weeks and we'll reevaluate. Well, after the 6 weeks, I never heard from the guy again, right? I never did. That's how.
The
Now,
booker
here I
just
am.
never called you back?
Six shows. The last thing I heard from a booker was a year later when he put me in collection for $200. And I had to fucking send the paperwork that I paid him, and then it went away. He took it off the judgment. I never heard from that guy again. I never owed him the $200. He just never got it or some shit. But it was really insane. He put me on like this 6-weeker right after The Longest Yard came out. Atlanta.
Okay.
Chicago. Texas. I was going to Beaumont because I really like Beaumont, and Slade Ham was down there who just released a special. I don't know where else I went. There weren't big markets. Like he's
And
like,
what
you ain't going.
venues were you playing?
Well, I never forget that right after The Longest Yard, the week The Longest Yard came out, I went to Houston. And I watched the movie with the Houston Texans that
Shit.
Thursday, that early screening. And then Friday, we all went to the movies in the morning. And then the movie came out and it was great. And then like 2 weeks later, I went to Chicago. But I didn't look at the schedule. It was Chicago mixed in with Iowa. And that's where the bowling alley was. And I'm like, I just did a fucking movie with Adam Sandler, and I'm in a fucking bowling alley. Fuck, no green room. People are coming up to me 2 at a time. How's Adam Sandler, man? Is he really cool? Do you have his number? Just like, and you're like, oh.
Were you at least headlining?
Yeah, I was headlining, but
Okay.
that's part. And then I remember going to Atlanta. I'll never forget going to Atlanta, and when I got there, like it was 3 weeks after the movie came out, there was maybe 200 people there. It maybe sat 300. And I remember walking in and people coming up to me, you were great. You were great. I got on stage. I did good for about 10 minutes. I don't know what I was talking about. I went dirty and I lost them. And after the show,
mark?
huh? Yeah.
At the 10-minute mark, you lost them?
Yeah. And those same people were coming up to me in the beginning, or like when I walked at the end of the show, I go, hey, and they go like, oh, go away. I was like, okay. It was a tour from death. 14 years into comedy, 15 years, 14 years, and I really wasn't ready to headline. I was not a headliner, even though I had the material, even though I was a regular at the store. All that shit didn't matter because you could have the material, but there's just something when the switch goes off that you're a headliner. And I didn't become a headliner till after I met you. Let's be honest. The first couple trips I did, I remember going to Columbus. I didn't do too good in Columbus, dog.
No?
I went back to Columbus for like a year and a half, and I didn't know why. And in the back of my mind, I didn't do good. I did 5 shows. They were like, I sold out 3 of the 5, but and I did that 1 year where I just went to see headliners on Thursday. And I still think about Geraldo and Ralphie. They were the best 2 I saw that year. From the back of the room, nobody knew I was there. And I was like, those are headliners. You know, they have a pace. They know where they're going. At that time, I was very clunky. When the checks were dropped, done.
I haven't even dealt with that yet.
Done. If you think showing your dick on stage and seeing people's reaction, wait till they get the check. And then you're up there fucking throwing heat, and they're like, $86 for chicken strips, you know.
How long did it take you to figure that out?
That's another year. And then you go to people and you go, what the fuck? I'm bombing. After they drop their checks. That's a complete different education. That you're throwing heat for 45 minutes and all of a sudden some lady comes and drops check. And it's Friday night. These people been giggling, and all of a sudden they get the tab. If there's 50 people, if there's 100 people in the audience, 50 people are going to go, okay, we got the money. But the other 50 people, man, mozzarella sticks, $8.95. They weren't even done. And all of a sudden the arguments start and who's circling items. And now you got to get them. And it's like a mixed audience. You got like 50 people giggling at once, and the other 100 are like arguing about the check. I didn't drink the champagne. He ate the wings. Put it on his tab. You know, you don't know how to handle that shit.
No.
And then after you get established, you could tell the place to drop the checks after you get off. But that's a pain in the ass because now they got to stop everybody and make sure everybody paid at the end of the show. So that means if you have a 10 o'clock show, that's going to stop me even more. It's going to have to go 10:30 because it takes all those people to check their tabs. You got to give them a receipt to get out.
Right. No, I've been. It is nicer on the show though when they do that.
So what do you got this week, Tarzan? You don't do comedy during Passover? You're like it's
I got
Ramadan for Jews. What's the story?
I have 3 shows this week. On Wednesday, I'm at Off the Rails in Worcester. On Friday, I'm at the Comedy Scene in Foxborough, and on Saturday, I'm in Dennis. I'm on Cape Cod on Saturday.
On TikTok.
Cape Cod.
Cape Cod.
At the Pelham House Resort. Yeah.
What are you doing up there? They have a boat up there, right?
And they might. I you know what? I had an interesting. I just this is a group that runs some clubs up here, and they do shows throughout the area. And they offered me this show, and I can't wait. The comedy scene's cool. The comedy scene's where the Patriots play.
Okay.
They have
Now
a club up there.
Passover runs from yesterday to next Monday.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you're done.
Yeah.
Just talk about Passover this week and what it means to you, and, you know, the bad food and grandma can put a fin in a fucking. Do you got any money on Passover? Anybody throw you a $20 bill? Or
they kind of do. Not really. But there's a thing with the matzah where like you hide it, and then the person who gets it usually gets some money. There's always a money part to the holiday, but yeah, it's called the afikomen.
You know what's crazy? That matzah, you don't even really want to find that. You're like, ah.
Well, no, you want to find that one because that one makes money. No, well, kind of. They pass it around.
You gotta eat it, and that's the problem. Like,
but you gotta eat matzah all the time on Passover. It sucks. And all my non-Jewish friends always pretend they like matzah. And for everyone who hasn't had it, it makes a saltine taste like flavorful. Matzah is disgusting.
You don't see me putting Swiss cheese on matchas with some deluxe ham from Boar's Head. Fuck that.
That's what you have to do. That's what your sandwich would be.
And I'll tell you what, just bring some ham and cheese. I would.
You can't have ham on Passover.
They don't know that. You don't know that. Fucking show up with some ham and cheese, make a little fucking monster. A little masa cordon bleu sandwich with some crackers. Nobody knows nothing.
Yes, they do. First
No,
of all, you can't mix cheese and meat at all. And then the ham is like, you can't.
Why
It's like
can't
to
you?
say it.
Who said that you can't mix cheese and ham? I'm past.
Literally almost every Jew.
So can you, if you don't, let's say you have the Swiss on the right hand and this ham on the left hand, then you beat the fucking, you found the loophole.
No, there's no ham at all. No ham, no bacon, no shrimp for good Jews.
Listen, bacon and shrimp I see, but a little ham ain't gonna kill you on fucking Passover. Just a little piece. You know what I'm saying? You just
I would love to see you argue with that with the rabbi.
Ooh, make them spin it nice and slice, nice and thin, so it just folds on the masa. You throw a little fucking cheese on that bitch. Yowza, yowza, yowza.
I would love to see someone have a ham sandwich on Passover.
Oh, I would show up at your house with a ham sandwich. That's the name of your first album, showing up at Passover with a ham sandwich. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah, you would get beat up. That's like, oh my God, that's like almost a hate crime in Judaism.
Really?
No. Well, you can't eat pork. I know that.
Oh, I'll show up with some Chinese spare ribs and thwart them. That's a loophole too. Those Jews, they mean like pork cutlets and, like white meat pork. They didn't say nothing about the fucking.
Yes, they did.
No, they don't.
Dude, they have kosher Chinese restaurants. I'll take you next time. They have kosher ones with no pork, no shrimp. How do you think it is?
Listen. Listen. Why are we hypocrites here? Why are the Jews being hypocrites right now? If I showed up at Passover at a Jew house, one of those motherfuckers will break.
Oh my God. All right. Holy shit. Oh, yeah, it's the worst. I can't stand it. And I love. How upset would you be if we went to a kosher? They have a kosher pizza place too, like with like beef pepperoni.
With meatless pepperoni.
Yeah, and beef. I think maybe do it. Actually, if it's really kosher, they probably don't have any real meat toppings.
Listen, all that stuff is great. I believe in the kosher rules and stuff like that. But listen, I could fuck. It's like I could talk a guy into sucking my dick with an 8-ball at 3 a.m.
Yeah.
I could talk a Jew into eating a fucking nice spare rib from Freddy's on Passover. That's easy. That's easy. There's gotta be a loophole.
Jews aren't really big on loopholes.
The sauce, there's something. You could just show up and go, guys, I looked in the fucking Quran, whatever. When I went to Israel, I caught some fucking Jews eating Chinese ribs on fucking Passover. If it's good enough for them, it's good enough for me. They were eating fucking ribs, doing Krav Maga at the park. You know what I'm saying?
I wonder which one would take you longer. You think which one would be easier? Jew eating pork or getting a blowjob with an 8-ball?
They're both about the same. I mean, not now. I'm a 60-year-old man, but
no, I know that. And you also don't want a guy to suck your dick.
Oh yeah, I would look at those guys and go, if I had an 8-ball, I could talk them into sucking my dick easy. It's cool. Everybody does it.
Really? I didn't know. Oh, I love you, buddy.
I love you too, man. Happy Passover to all the Jews in the struggle. I love you. Listen, if you're Jewish, take a chance. Columbus did. If they bomb Iran this week, show up with some ribs at Passover and throw Grandma for a loop. Grandma, put the $10 bill away. I don't even want it. I'm not going to find the matzah, but listen, I want you to try these fucking Chinese spare ribs. I found the loophole, section 8, page 352.
Holy shit. They're going to get some people kicked out of the will.
Nah, dog. And then you know what? It'll spread. You just got to introduce it to the Jews and tell them, listen, it's a different Jew out there. It's a different Jew. The we're different now. Especially, Anyway, I'm high. I don't even know what I'm talking about no more. Thank you for doing it. Happy Passover. And we'll see you savages next week. What's going on, gentlemen? How was your weekend?
Very good. How about you, sir?
Softball is back in full effect. and the edibles are still working. You know, that's all I got to say.
Nice.
It was very nice to go out there, get some sun. You know, can't smoke no dope. People throw you under the bus. I don't want to smoke dope in front of kids anyway, but I took about fucking 1,500 milligrams about 10 in the morning. By the time I got there,
Wow.
woo, we had to go down to where the Sopranos killed. Whatever, La Cerba,
Okay.
Pine Barrens,
Yeah, the
Adriana La Cerba. You know, it's so crazy. Like, you see Jersey, there's a complete different part of Jersey that is fucking, everybody had horses in their front yard. You know, I get a little scared. You got to bring the rifle to the front seat, but a lot of Trumpers, you know. And, but it's fucking beautiful down there. Really was nice to get out of here. And that's it. That was my weekend. I smoked some dope. I took
How
some
did you
medicine,
make it home?
like I usually do. Fucking get in the car and pray. You know? It's time to play bumper cars.
Jesus Christ.
Now, by the time I
And-
was driving home, I was a lot better, but I fell asleep at 10:15 last night. I was stoned all fucking day. An edible in the morning fucking keeps the doctor away.
Did it keep you going the whole day, or did you have to take more?
No, I inhaled a couple more when I got home. And then I fucking did something, and then I was fucking tired. I'm like, I gotta get to bed, Jack. We woke up like at 7 for this shit. You gotta be down there at 9. That's an hour 10 drive. People have no idea about my weekends. Like, hey, I didn't see you Saturday night, bitch, because I had to be up at fucking 6:30.
Damn. What do you think about it? Do you like going?
I really do. You know, when you're a young guy and you see somebody watching women's sports, you're like, this fucking guy, he's definitely going to fall out of a tree with a bag of M&Ms and a fucking long rain jacket. And then my father-in-law would always watch girls softball. And I'm like, this ain't right. You know, like, this just ain't right. I'm not even going to watch this shit. You know, I feel like I got to wear a cape when I watch it. And then, you know, my daughter started playing, and you watch the game, you see the girls get stronger. And you're like, fuck, man, these girls, like yesterday, I was blown away on how good they've gotten since they've started. Like, I know 4 of these fucking girls, you know. They got big, you know, they're hitting now. 3 years ago, they walked around all shy. Now they're hitting the fucking ball, and it's pretty impressive to see. That's it. I don't care whether she's a star. I don't give a fuck, because I know there's an education. Getting to meet different people and fucking jump up and down with different girls. And that's an education for kids, the same way it was for us.
What do you do when they lose? Is that like, does she handle that well?
Nothing. I don't say nothing. I'm not one of those fucking Pistol Pete type dads. This is fucking fun. This is for kids to get to know each other, get to learn social skills, get to learn what it feels like to win, what it feels like to strike out, what it feels like to get hit by the fucking ball in the back, you know. So it's an education in itself. And I remember being like, I talk to people a lot, you know, my friends I grew up with, and people get confused. Like, I knew these bunch of people when I was in the 7th grade. And they're like, how did you grow up with them? And I go, because CYO basketball. We would all play our games, and then we'd get in the fucking, you know, feet, and we'd walk and go get pizza. We'd walk into a pizza parlor with 20 guys, you know, 10 girls and 10 boys that had nothing bad on their minds. There was no sex. There was no kissing. It was just young kids acting like fucking idiots.
And I didn't hate it, but I was always bad. Like you, Mercy's really good. The last time I saw her, she was making a bunch of hits.
Listen, she ain't Hank Aaron.
Who is?
But she loves it. And like I said, you know, listen, what these parents don't know is your kid is great at softball when they're 10 or 11. And by the time they're 18, they're playing the piano.
Oh, yeah.
And you had all these big dreams about going to Oklahoma. I don't have no big dreams. She's got to have the big dreams, you know.
It is kind of weird. Have you seen there's a little kid, like a little Gronk or something? Like, there's people who like putting their 5th graders like to be like the next big like NFL star. Like,
listen, man, when you see what's going on today, the laziness of kids on apps and fucking phones, and it's 70 degrees today. I'm walking around. There ain't a fucking kid out there.
right, that's true.
It's brutal. It's brutal for fucking kids. So, this is the first time I go to the gym. And that last week, when kids were off, there was 10 kids in there getting trained by a trainer. Not like in there knowing what they were doing. These kids couldn't hit the mitts. They couldn't do dick. And I'm saying, one of the kids was a black belt in Taekwondo, and the kid was, and I'm watching this kid throw punches, and I'm like, this kid's in no danger. New York City, he's getting beat up by the falafel guy. You know what I'm saying?
Have you ever been beat up by the falafel guy?
Nah, when I was growing up, there was no falafels. It was straight up hot dog with mustard, ketchup, or fucking sauerkraut. That was good as it got.
That's it. You didn't go for like the meat over rice? Or like, remember there's
none of that shit was allowed when I was growing up. There was no people yelling on the street. Remember that night we're going to Sony Hall, there's some guy yelling flounder
He's fish sandwich.
Flounder sandwiches. I mean, who would go in there for a fucking flounder sandwich on 42nd Street? They just caught that flounder and fucking on the Hudson River. It ain't even a flounder. It's whatever, fucking Egyptians hunt. These Hamas, they don't know how to fish. They'll take it out. That's a tuna. All right. It's a tuna. It's next thing you know, it's a fucking shark. It's a jellyfish. They're all sitting there with swollen lips.
Oh no. Yeah, but
I wouldn't eat half that stuff. That stuff was hot dogs.
That's it. No, like you don't go for like the nuts.
You gotta walk 20 blocks. The city, hot dog guys are probably making $100,000 a year because people had to walk to get to them. Now, you're in competition. It's like having a Subway sandwich. I got to duke it out now with Subway, Carolina's sandwiches, hot and spicy. It's not just selling, and they all suck.
Isn't it true? Like they have fake like Sabret umbrellas. Like when you go and it says Sabret, it's probably actually not Sabret.
Oh, you get those for $10 at a flea market. Next thing you know, you eat some kid's tail. It's fucking, No, I don't trust none of those motherfuckers no more. I go to a place right here in Old Bridge, Nikki's Dogs. Ooh, the chili with the potato sticks.
Ooh.
Ooh, a couple potatoes in that motherfucker. What? But
they
again,
put that on a hot dog?
Yeah, she's not there every day, though. She's there like Thursday through Sunday. So if I go to jiu-jitsu Friday and I had a good week, I'll stop in there and get a fucking hot dog, It's good for the soul, man. What's the story there, Mungo?
How was your eclipse?
Listen, leave me alone, please.
What, you don't want I brought one for you.
Good. Take them and sell them back to the guy who sold those to you.
You don't want one?
No, I don't want no fucking eclipse. What? The eclipse is over. I was out there with no shields at all.
Nothing?
Well, looking around, nothing happened. Maybe tomorrow I'll wake up like Stevie Wonder with glare. I don't know what happened last.
It was fucking bright here.
Yeah, it was bright here too for a little while. And then, even the cat was like, I'm not sitting out here. Fucking.
People went on vacation for it. Can you believe that?
Oh, yeah. Monday, Tuesday through Wednesday are the busiest days at the airport this week. High travel people. You know what's funny? I'm sitting there going, what if it's a joke and the fucking Russians just bombed that whole line? And you're sitting there going, I should have stayed home and mind my business. You know what I'm saying? Like, whenever I see a big conglomeration like that, I ain't going, not even to, there's nothing, before I was watching World News Tonight, we got together to watch, leave me alone, all right? What country? All those migrants, they're fucking out smoking people. The Mexicans, they're fucking doing laundry and cutting grass, Black people are working. Well, it's a bunch of white people out there with glasses like, oh, God, this is beautiful, with Birkenstocks. And, I hope they had Mando on because those Eclipse people get stinky as fuck.
Oh, my God.
I used that Mando last week. Whatever oil you have, they're fucking gone. That Mando, I stopped itching. I get like dry skin from itching.
Right.
I said to put the Mando on because it would keep the moisture away. Dog, I go to fucking the blue light therapy. I rub that on me. I don't sweat a bead. You know what I'm saying? I'm in there fucking.
How much are you putting on?
I put a stick on every time I go to therapy.
Oh, at least you smell good.
Fucking bead. When I come out of there, it's like it's all over. I'm pissing all over myself. By the way, guys, I'm very sorry about the podcast last week. I had to pee like 9 times. I mean, it's scary. And what it was is those Zims.
Really?
I could eat one of those things, maybe 2. But if I'm walking around like some fucking guy in a Brokeback Mountain chewing that shit all day, oh my God, I got up to pee 2 nights in a row. It was like a 20-minute pee. It would just go. I'm like, I'm going back to bed. Now I'm going to pee to bed. I had to get back there and stand like a fucking statue. It's a goddamn nightmare. I threw those things out because I bought like a blue one, like some type of mint, whatever. And I bought some whatever, and it was okay. But I'll tell you what, Lucy, whatever, tastes a lot better than that.
Right.
But I think it swells up my fucking prostate or something. It was not bueno. I had to take the fucking root again, and and now I'm pissing normal again.
Thank God.
That day, like the one day I took last Thursday, I put a Zen in my mouth, 11:15, without thinking. And I went to jiu-jitsu. I thought I was going to have a fucking heart attack in there.
Jeez.
And I had to pee 4 times in an hour. I was like, this is what it is.
Did that happen when you would smoke cigarettes?
No. Just whatever they put in there, there's a bunch of stuff I can't take. There's a bunch of stuff, even if it's like vitamins. Sometimes I'll buy vitamins over 50. Next thing you know, I'm up all night pissing. I'm like, I got to throw this out. $60. They told me I would live till I'm 90. And yeah, I'll live because I'm going to piss myself to death here. That's how I'm going to fucking die. But anyway, it don't matter. How was your week last week? That's what's important to me.
My week was good, but it was the first week in a while where I didn't have any shows.
And then the weather didn't help out because that's what killed me last week.
Oh, really?
Oh, it was fucking, you got 22 inches of snow up there.
Yeah. I left rain early. Yeah.
We got rain Wednesday night that I just went, I go for my little 7 o'clock ride, my little 7:30 ride, just to keep everybody fucking tight. And a friend of mine called. I pulled over to talk to him. Lee, what I saw, like I could see the wind shifting the rain and the fucking trees shaking. And then my truck started shaking. And I'm like, you know what? I ain't going out tonight.
Really? It was that bad?
Yeah, it was bad Wednesday. And then Thursday it rained. And then I was like, I'm done. I had planned for Friday, but they got squashed. My daughter had a softball scrimmage. And then that's it. So hopefully I'll go out tomorrow night, Wednesday night. I got little plans, and that's it. I got to stick to them. I got to get ready. I'm in training and shit.
Hell yeah. Speaking of that, did you feel the earthquake this weekend?
Yeah.
Nothing?
Yeah. No, I lived in LA for 23 years. That was bingo time. People running. I saw Priuses taking off. Everybody was scared. All the electric cars and shit.
That's what everyone said. Everyone said they were freaking out, and it wasn't a tiny one, but it was like a 4.
It's funny because I was in the gym.
Okay.
And I was with my buddy training. And as it went down, nobody knew what had happened. And I told him the story about when I moved here, Lee.
Okay.
I got here August 19th, but I didn't move into my house till September 2nd.
Right.
My daughter started school September 4th. It was like we moved in and we were off and running. I was going through hell at the time. I was in a living hell. I brought boxes of edibles with me.
Mm-hmm.
And I just could not. The anxiety was killing me from the fucking withdrawing on the Xanax and shit. And my head was just fucked up. We went through 8 years on that corner eating fucking 2,000 milligrams a day. Plus I was moving. It was a big challenge, So after the first week I'm here, I realized that my daughter's going to school and I'm going to bed 2 hours before her.
Wow.
Before she's leaving. Like I was on California time. I wasn't going to bed till 1:30 in California. So I get here, I'm staying up till 5:30, and I'm enjoying it. Like, I'm up at night, there's COVID, I don't have to do dick, and I'm popping these fucking hash pills. All right? And I'm going off. By that time, I had the Michael Jackson tea brewing. I had the 3 packs of THC tea, and I would put 1,000 milligrams in fucking tar in it, syringe. And then I would put, 1,400 milligrams of ABX in there. It was Michael Jackson tea.
Yeah.
By the time I got finished with it, it wasn't even tea. It was like a fucking silk of oil on the top. It was just amazing. And I would drink it and I would get fucked up. But I didn't know what my reaction would be every night. I didn't know if I was going to pass out. I didn't know if I was going to eat half the kitchen. Some nights, whatever was in that fucking junk would make me stay up and do fucking somersaults down here. And I'm watching TV and I'm smoking dope outside. And I'm like, And then one night, we moved in on the 4th and the 2nd.
Okay.
And my sister-in-law died on the 5th.
Damn.
Okay, so we moved here like on a Saturday. Me and my sister-in-law got off the phone on Tuesday. And by the time I went to the Stress Factory and pulled into the garage to do a set with Tim Dillon, my other sister called me and she goes, "Did you hear the news?" And I go, "No." And she goes, "Your sister-in-law died, Sherry." And I go, "I just talked to them at 6 o'clock. It was like 9:30, 10 o'clock at night."
Holy shit.
It was a fucking weird week. So I'm sitting down here about a week later, blasted out of my fucking mind. And I'm starving. Let me go upstairs to the kitchen, see if there's any salami and cheese, whatever I was eating those days. And I walk upstairs, Lee, and 1 minute I'm eating, and the next minute, Lee, the kitchen looked like a bomb dropped.
I've been there.
There was cheese puffs and fucking white bread and fucking salami on the floor. And I had opened up like a fucking iced tea, and it would leak. And in the middle of all this, I'm sitting in the fucking kitchen. Lee, you just won't believe this. It's 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm sitting in the kitchen and I'm looking at the light in the living room.
Okay.
It's not a chandelier. It's just like a little light that hangs.
Right.
For some reason, God made me look at that light. And the next thing you know, I heard a fucking rumble, Lee. Like the house was shaking and shit. And I'm like, this has to be a bad dream. I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm telling you the story for the first time, the truth. I'm looking at that chandelier shaking, and I'm feeling the cabinets are shaking and the plates and shit.
Okay.
And once it stopped, I just sat there, looked around, and I'm like, I'm not even going to deal with that. I'm going to finish the salami sandwich. And I'm going to bed like nothing happened. I'm going to make believe that did not happen because that was an earthquake. And there ain't no fucking way on earth that I just lived in California for 23 years. I'm here for 2 weeks and there's an earthquake. This is just a bad dream. This is the edibles. This did not happen. And I went to fucking bed. And when I got up that morning, there was a fucking earthquake in Freehold, right where Ken, the Chinese guy is.
Right.
It was right down there, Lee. I woke up the next morning like, what the fuck did I do?
What do you mean? You thought like it was like your fault?
That was God telling me I made a mistake or I brought an earthquake with me from Cal. I mean, I woke up the next day and that was all on Twitter. You brought a fucking earthquake with you, you fuck.
Holy shit. That's crazy that you think you would blame yourself for that.
I didn't blame myself. I just thought I had the malouk on me. I thought, fucking this was my sign that this was not going to be any bueno and shit.
Holy. And then how does that relate to the one that just happened?
I was telling him the story. And then the woman, that his ex-wife, is also a trainer in the gym. She came out of a different room and she goes, "Did you feel that earthquake?"
Right.
And that was an earthquake. And I told him the story of what happened to me. He was dying of laughter. Dog, it was so surreally. It was like the night we were in the office right before we left, and that car came by and yelled our names.
Oh, yeah.
We both looked at each other and were like, it's time to go.
Yeah.
Because we had been there for 8 years. And all of a sudden, the pandemic, nobody's allowed in the street. And somebody actually came to the gate and was yelling for us to come out to get high or whatever the fuck they were saying. And I'm like, it's time to go. So when I got here and I got that earthquake, I'm like, oh, that's a signal, Jack. We better pack our bags up and go back to Cali like fucking LL Cool J.
Jesus. Did you look at it, or it was just like a momentary panic?
It was a what?
Like, did you actually look at moving back, or was it just like a panic for like a second?
No, I didn't fucking look at moving back. I was here 3 weeks. How bad would you look if you fucking came back into town with a U-Haul? We're not doing it. Get the fuck out of here, you know.
Okay. I would imagine, like, Jesus Christ. Everything, I didn't know everything went so bad that first week.
It was just like one thing after the other. I wasn't sure I'd made the right move. You know, she was one of the sister-in-laws. She lived 3 hours from me. But I fucking love her to death. She was there when I started comedy. She did everything for me when I came back in 93. And over the years, she would come to my shows and, you know, she made fucking best chicken cutlets you ever had. She had like 3 dishes that were fucking unreal. So I was waiting to come back here to hang with her, and I would go down there on the weekends with her and my brother. I fucking loved her. So that news was brutal. And then 2 days later, I had to drive 3.5 hours to the fucking wake in COVID. And I'm petrified. I got to pee. And I got to walk into these gas stations, and I'm like, what the fuck? And then I walk into a funeral parlor, and they're everywhere. And people got masks on. And I was like, this is not happening. I'm going to die. Wow. And I remember staying there for an hour and getting back in the car, and it was another 3.5 hour drive. And I had to keep stopping because I was nervous. I had anxiety from the fucking COVID that I was going to get it in a gas station. It was brutal.
And you don't really drive for anybody. I'm almost surprised you went.
I had to go to this one. This one I had to do. This one there was no getting out of my way out of that one, you know. So I'm happy I went. I made his world. I made my world by going. It gave me peace, and I'm still not at peace with her death. Obviously, I'm still talking about it. I took one of the flowers from on top of her casket, and I still got it. I mean, I was tight with her, Lee, really tight with her. She had been married to my brother since I was 23. 23, 24.
Wow. They stayed married that entire time, and she would come to shows every time you were in town?
Every time I came to town, Jersey, Philadelphia, Atlantic City, New York City, I gave her a fucking edible. In New York, remember when they shut the window, all that shit, they were there.
Right.
They were there, man. So, you know, it kind of was fucked up at first. It happened when I was in a parking garage. You know, that's when they were doing comedy in a tent.
Jesus.
It was just like it was like something out of a Twilight Zone. I'm like, this is not fucking happening. But we live and we learn. We get stronger. We become savages. And we keep slinging dick, cocksucker. What do you got this week? You got any comedy? What do you got?
Oh, yeah. This week I'm doing a big one with Josh Wolf at the Gramercy Theater on April 13th.
Oh?
I'll be there. Yeah, it's going to be great. It's I'm so excited to do all these. Like, I've gotten to do Stony Hall with you, and now I'm doing like another really awesome theater in New York. And New York to me is like the mecca for comedy. And so just to be able to do anytime in New York is awesome.
Crazy as a young comic. What cities you hold?
Yeah.
There's a list that you won't tell nobody where you want to perform, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Because you don't want people to laugh. You'll never get into the punchline.
Right.
You know, you'll never get into the spellbinders because you're Jewish, you know, whatever.
Right.
They always, so you don't say nothing. You just take the weeks as they go. First place I really wanted to go to, Lee, and I got my wish, was Detroit.
Really? What was it about Detroit?
A buddy of mine was from Detroit, and I really, really liked him. He was one of my saviors in Colorado from 87 to about 95. He was tight with me. He always got me great jobs. He sold me cars at cost, and I just liked him. And I always liked the idea of it was the capital of murder, whatever, the murder capital for a long time. And what really happened was a friend of mine asked me to go to the Bahamas with him to do a cruise, right?
Oh, shit, okay.
And really good guy. He just reached out to me 2 days ago to check in. This is 1995. Me and him, February of 95, I'm supposed to meet him in Florida somewhere to get on this ship. And we weren't doing it on a ship. We were doing it in the Bahamas.
Oh, like a resort at the Bahamas?
Right. And I was really nervous because he called me and said you had to be spotless. That if you slipped, they would come take you off the stage. And by the time you got to the end of the stage, your room was packed and they had a helicopter for you to drive to take you to the mainland. And sometimes they would press charges on you. This is 1995. And I'm a little sweating it. And about, a week before the gig, he calls me from a hospital in Florida. His gallbladder blew up, something. And he had to cancel that week.
Motherfucker.
Right? And I'm like, damn. But again, I knew I was going to get taken off that island. There was no way. I was definitely going to get pulled off that island. I didn't know if it was the first night or the third night. So when he got back, he felt really guilty. And he goes, do you have a resume? My resume? And I had his resume because I used it. I would always open up for him. So people would say, send the resume, and I would have one of his and whatever. Plus, I would look at his resume and fucking dream. He was the HBO Comic of the Year in 1985. And, had a couple specials and shit. And he goes, pick a club. And I saw this club in Detroit, Michigan. And I go, that one. And he goes, I'll call you back. And he called me back and he goes, call the guy. He's waiting for you to call. Joey's Comedy Club.
And were you headlining or featuring?
I was featuring in Dearborn, Michigan.
Jesus.
And I drove, and the weekend changed my life. I learned how to feature really well. I got 3 more weeks offered to me, and I met a girl that I ended up staying with until 1999 or something. It was the weirdest weekend ever.
That's a pretty good weekend.
Yeah, I drove back, and then she came to Boulder and hung out with me for a few weeks. Then she went back to Michigan to get her stuff. Then she came back to Boulder. We went camping, and then she went to Seattle, and I met her like 2 weeks later.
Damn. All because of this one weekend.
Yeah. All because of Detroit.
And you just kind of picked it at random?
Yeah. Listen, I always wanted to go to New York, but what was I going to prove in New York? I already knew the rules in 94 and 95. People would tell me, if you go to New York, you're not going to get a dime.
Mm-hmm.
Every set is free. So you got to cover yourself and get rides. And I'm like, and then I really wanted to do Vegas, but there was something about the insignia of the Seattle Comedy Club at the time, the Underground, that just seemed cool to me. The name, the Underground, seemed cool. The insignia. Now, did I ever think I'd end up in Seattle? No. But that's the way it went. That's just the way life was going at that time. There was no plan. It was, kumbaya. 1 minute you're in Idaho. The next minute you're doing a one-man show. Not a one-man show, but you're doing a show in Wyoming. The next thing you know, I'm in Michigan.
But then, when did the switch change? Because, you and I were talking today, and you have a plan for everything now.
But then again, I've always had a plan. This is your fucking career. You know, you're not going to get nowhere running like rampant, okay? You're not going to get nowhere running rampant. It's great to be that in the beginning until you really find out what's going on and how the system works. And you don't even know how it works at that point. You're still going on the funny gauge. You know nothing about selling tickets, and you don't want to know. You barely got a headshot. Yeah. Right. You don't get a headshot till 10 people ask you for one.
Okay, deal.
I'll send you a caricature. When I went to court in 87, the guy from the paper drew a... No, but that's the problem. I don't like people moving slow in comedy. I didn't have the basics till I was in Boulder in 95. That's why I started getting the basics, but I was attacking Lee. Like, I was like, you got a gig, I'll do it. Gas station, under the gas station. I used to do a gig on Monday nights. I still laugh about it. It was at a bar, and they had a stage. You think they put us there? No. They had a room all the way in the back that had like this molding on the wall that looked like you were, and only sat like 12 people.
Oh, fuck.
And I would go in there and kill on Monday nights, you know, like just in this little fucking room. It was just a set for me. But that was the mentality. You know, when I talk to Jimmy Florentine, he's around the corner from me. I love talking shop to Jimmy because he'll tell me what places around here used to do comedy back then when he started 30 years ago. And one of the places is the same strip club that my buddies own now. That was always a strip club. And he did the open mics there on Monday night, upstairs. They have an upstairs. So he would do the open mics upstairs at this fucking strip club.
I can't wait till I look back at them. But it's like at least at my point, and I'm lucky I get to talk to you and I get to talk to all the people I open for. But I don't know how to I wouldn't know how to make a plan for comedy if it paid me. Like and maybe I'm just nowhere near that point yet, but I would do any show anywhere. And
it's like, listen, I worked dumb with comedy. I could sit here and lie to you. I didn't start working comedy correctly until I met my wife. It wasn't about 2003, 2004 where she goes, let me see your notebook. And she's like, you got to get rid of this. Why would you do that? You know, I was booking weeks that I shouldn't have been booking. I had the Comedy Store. I could do 5 sets on that at the Comedy Store. But 5 sets at the Comedy Store is what? Fucking $75.
Right.
You know, maybe she gives you a main room spot. You got to sell something. I would sell a couple 8 balls back then just to make ends meet or do a Mexican room. And it didn't really start clicking for me. You know, on January 1st, you got to go listen. At that level, when I was in LA, I would put I got to book a guest star, 5 co-stars, a short film, and 3 commercials. That was the acting side. And then on the stand-up side, it was always, I want to add 20 minutes and I want to get funnier. It was never about being the funniest guy. I just focused on being funny. Those are the goals. You're looking at your weekly goals, your monthly goals, and your quarterly goals, how you want to choose a quarter, 3 or 4 months, that's your preference. Okay? And that's what you look at. And then at the end of that, you go, where am I going to be a year from now? Just a year from now. Right. Where do I want to be? And what things do I need to do to get there in a year? I need to do 400 spots. I need to take a cold reading workshop to help my stand-up. I need to do, a couple seminars because, around here, they're all cheap. The same seminars you get in Boston and New York. Well, Boston, Jersey are a lot cheaper than you'd pay in New York.
Oh, yeah. Fuck yeah.
And you're always going to get one thing from somebody. My daughter went to basketball camp last week. And I told her, I said, listen, I don't know what you're thinking, but I know from experience, if you get one thing in those 5 days, just one thing and working on those 5 things, that those that thing.
For those 5 days, yeah.
Yeah, it was worth me sending you there, and it was worth it for you.
Rather than going expecting to be like the best basketball player.
No, that's why I really enjoyed what you did 2 weeks ago. You did a weekend, and then you went right into a week. Okay?
Yeah, that was awesome.
And I know for a fact that you improved just a little bit. I know that, not because I was watching you, not because people were telling me, but because I know how those weeks work. And what happens is you do Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday you have off and you're tired. And then Monday you're like, I don't know if I want to do comedy on a fucking Monday. And you go down there and you have a great time, whether you bomb or whether you fucking, kill it. You have a great time, and that gives you motivation for the week. So you put 2 weeks. Let me tell you something. I used to do those triple runs for a month.
Damn. Like every night, 7 nights a week?
No. Not even. It was some weeks were Tuesday through Saturday.
Okay.
Some weeks were Wednesday through Saturday. Some weeks had a Sunday. And I would take those for a month and come back twice to see my daughter. That's it.
Stop there. Okay.
I would come back on Sunday, stay till fucking Wednesday or Tuesday, see her, and then get back in the car and leave again. And I would do a 2-weeker. And you do that for a month. I mean, you're there every day, Lee. You're in your room. You're in your car. When you have nothing else, you're going to focus on comedy. It's like when guys go to prison. They got one thing to focus on, fucking weights. They come out looking like Lou Ferrigno before the operation because that's all they did in there. They stuck to their carbs. You only get 100 carbs a day. I don't know. I'm just saying, everybody's like, whoa, they get so ripped. Yeah, because it's like being in fucking solitaire. You're not picking all day.
Right.
You're not eating potato chips on the corner. You're not getting a sandwich with Nino. You're not eating a half burrito with your buddy at 5 before you have dinner. So when you only have one thing to work on, the fucking the gains are going to be tremendous. You might not see them immediately, but you'll see them 6 weeks from now when somebody calls you and says the headliner is running late. You got to do fucking 10 more extra minutes. And there you are. Good to see you, brother. And there you are, stuck. And in your mind, you collapse. But then muscle memory takes over. And then there's a lady with an orange hat. Ooh, you just got 3 minutes off you. Ooh.
See, I don't do that enough.
You get to talk about that lady's orange hat.
Yeah.
Like when somebody in a UFC fight, when somebody gets punched 3 or 4 times and they grab your legs and clinch to regain, like they're hearing birds and Chinese music and the room is tilting and shit.
Holy shit. But that's
your oxygen. That's why I always loved jujitsu and comedy, because when you're in a closed guard, that's your home. That's the safest you're going to be. I have his arms. My legs are around his body. This gives me a chance to fucking breathe and think of my next move or how I'm going to bait him.
And so you feel more like that doing like crowd work than you do material?
No, this is all. Listen, you go up there with a 40-minute set that you have planned out, correct?
Okay.
And then they call. No, you have a 30-minute set. You have a 25-minute set.
As a feature, yeah.
As a feature. You've been doing 28. If they pull you out of Boston, you're down to 20, And all of a sudden, you're on stage. You've already done your rain material. You've done your fucking, they didn't tell you this before you went up.
Right, no.
They're going to send you a note to the stage and go, the headline is running late. Stretch it out, bitch.
Fuck.
And now you're going to be forced things that's how you improve. And that's where you see the improvement. And that's when you know what your next move is. That's why your priorities should change with comedy every 90 days. You're focusing on something else. This month, I'm going to focus on this joke and this bit and where to put it. And every month, you have a mission. Every week, you have a mission.
Fuck. Yeah, that's crazy to think about. All I've thought about up until this point is like just trying to write jokes and be funnier.
And that's what you should be thinking about at this level.
Okay.
That's it. Everything else, as you're doing this, you're learning. Listen, man. We were talking about something in Austin that about somebody who went to Montreal and did very well, and they gave him the world, and one day he just iced himself, and he had a pretty good movie career going. There was a particular director that fell in love with him, and was giving him movies, but what he wanted to do, they didn't want him to do, And it's really weird because I always think of them when people get a quick push, how they're going to handle it. They're either going to excel, and then you got to give them rope again because how they going to deal now that they got 10 million? How are they going to treat other people? Are they still going to come to the Comedy Store and do sets? It's very interesting to see all those things also.
And then,
I want everybody to be ready before they get hit with a ton of bricks. That's what my point is here in this right. Comedy career. There's two fucking careers in comedy. There's that fucking around one when you got your friends and you're all comparing shit, and then you move up a little bit, and then you move up a little bit, and then guess what? It gets fucking real. And now every time you go on stage, like I told you, every time I go to the store and I'd bomb, I'd walk to the car going, this is the last time I'm going to see this building.
But I feel that way every time I go on stage. But I do see.
It's fucking nerve-wracking.
Oh, it's
hard. That alone, that thinking in your mind, that eats at you.
Yeah.
It eats at you. And all these things, I want you to, when you walk, listen, I don't even know how I was prepared for Mitzi Shaw. Till this day, I sit there and I'm like, how did I pass? That audition was scary enough. If you want me to sit here and go, oh no, I just walked in there. Dog, you're shitting your pants. You got a bead of piss that's about to come out of your turtleneck. I had to wrap my uncircumcised dick with a bread tie. I got a piece of shit in my ass. My stomach is rumbling. You don't want to have a cocktail because you might forget your material. You don't want to smoke pot because you might forget your material. It's 1,000 things. You're going up in front of your future, whatever you think it is. So what if you go, yeah, I'm going to be a Comedy Store guy. You walk in there and she goes, nah, you got to go home and come up with plan B. Now what do we got?
I can't even imagine that.
Find out what her feedback is. Where you just got awful, or, does she think you got to come back in 6 months? Then 6 months, well, Lee works there and I fucking run circles around him. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. You do what the fuck you want to do now. She gave you 6 months. You show up in 9 months, you blow her fucking wig off, and now you're a regular. But what if she would have told me no?
Right. I don't know how you would deal with that.
I don't know. I would have had to go to the Laugh Factory the next day. Remember, I got to LA on a Monday. And next Tuesday, I went to the Laugh Factory, waited all day, had a great set, and the guy's like, it's never going to work for you in LA. Jamie Masada, who, once I got the podcast, he was calling me every week, buddy, what are you playing? And I love Jamie. I'm not, but it's really weird. And you have to take that and learn how to move forward. A lot of people can't take 3 of those punches to the head and not move forward. No Comedy Store. They can't get an agent. The girlfriend dumped you for an actor. That's enough right there.
Didn't Ari get turned down? Like, not turned down, but didn't he have to audition 18 times or something?
Yeah.
That's crazy. Like, what do you think that did to it? Because now he's doing theaters and killing it.
Listen, man, when you get into comedy, it's not about the money or it's the longevity of what, you have to, you sell a piece of your soul. You sell a piece of yourself. Now I'm giving the right to these people to call me every day and pitch ideas at me. Now you don't get popularity, you lose pieces of yourself.
Why?
And everybody can handle that because everybody wants a piece of you, Lee. The agents want a piece of you. The managers come out of the woodwork. The same people you talked to 10 years ago and told you to try ballet. Now they call you up and like, what are we going to need to do here? We've known each other for 20 years. Why did you not sign with me? He told me to try tennis 10 years ago,
Fuck.
So that takes that itself, all that, because now you're going from, I want you guys to know comedy 100% in and out before you start getting hit in the head with bricks. I am your protective uncle and your protective father. Because that's like becoming a blue belt in jiu-jitsu. 50% of people quit right off the bat.
Really? You think when it starts to go well?
I could, if I got a notebook and I wanted to be a dick and embarrass people, I saw 10 comics who lasted a month in LA.
Wow.
And next thing you know, they were gone. Depression.
Were they doing anything in LA?
They were starting to, but it wasn't home. It wasn't home. You're in AAA ball. You're the star. You're hitting home runs. People want to jump up and down with you. Now you're in Major League Ball. Nobody knows who the fuck you are. You're carrying towels. You're fucking bringing waters. You're calling people mister. It's the same, it's the same fucking concept, man.
Damn.
So being a king in your town, headlining, people coming up to you. Now you get to LA, it's college football. You were a big high school star, go to Division I. You're 6'6". Guess what? There's 20 motherfuckers like that now. And they all run the 40 faster than you, bitch. And you're like, and you get there and these guys are jumping. Here you thought you were Johnny Atlas.
Right.
Your high school program made you believe you were Johnny Atlas. And you bought it. You ever see that movie with Clint Eastwood and Justin Timberlake and Amy Adams?
Oh.
He plays a scout.
Right.
And the kid is like, they're blowing smoke up his ass. The father's walking out of there like, he's not doing nothing for $10,000. Who's this dumb motherfucker trying to hit me now? See, these are the people that piss you off. They don't bother you all day. Then they want to bother you when you're on the fucking podcast. So, he gets to the Atlanta Braves. The Mexicans throwing heat at him, Santiago, whatever his fucking name was.
Right.
And the kid melts. Because he's been getting blown smoke of his ass for fucking 4 years. That gentle of a mind cannot take that. Your mind cannot take that at that age. Not too many people could run with the punches with that. That's a rough fucking move. So same thing happens with comedy. You just went up to Montreal and people laughed and shook your head. Then you stumble into the Comedy Store and you got to follow Bill Burr. After he followed Theo Von and he followed Lucy Liu and she followed Whitney Cummings and on and on and on and on. Somebody saw you in a club in New York and decided to test you up in Montreal again, put you in Montreal where people are dying to find a new face. Oh my God, he's 28. He's so witty. Comedy Central gives him a deal, and then he stumbles into the fucking store with ego.
Right.
And ba-boom. Ba-boom. You see them. I saw it 1,000 times. That's tough, that rejection.
When you're used to doing so well.
Yeah, 3 years from now, you're touring and you go to a club and he shows up. Hey, what happened to you? Oh, my grandmother, she lost her toe with diabetes and I had to move back. I get it, brother. I'm still headlining. I do this. I do cruises part-time. Yeah, that was too much. And there's nothing wrong with accepting that. Now, without further delay, I gotta talk to these people about DraftKings. So give me 2 minutes, all right? I'll be back. We're back, bitches. What else?
I'm doing great, man. We were talking about comedy. Like, I just like not having shows is like the worst. I haven't had that in a while, and it was the worst.
Week. It's a rough week, but after the week you had, listen, sometimes everything helps a little bit. Now your body got a chance to rest, your mind is clear, and your mind learns something from that muscle memory in Vegas. You learned a lot of things. That's a big stage, different type of people, different type of clientele. It wasn't what you expected. You thought it were going to be Sinatra people with tuxedos. Oh, no, a lot of air tanks and oxygen tanks, and fucking patches and people with spots like me. And, it's not the clientele you thought. But you learned. You learned, and it taught you how to rough it. You have to sleep at night, that hotel, with fucking a suitcase in front of your door because they will break in there. And that's part of it.
Oh, yeah.
That's all part of this fucking what you're going for at the end. You don't see it now. Nobody does. Nobody does. The suffering and the fucking sleeping in shitty places where you're like, you know what? I'm not even going to sleep in here. I'll sleep in my car. I'll come in here and take a shower in the morning, but I ain't sleeping in here. That type of shit, and houses and long sets and people ripping you off. Listen, I came here 4 years ago.
Okay.
Let's talk about facts here. And I decided that I wasn't ready to go on the road, nor did I want to. I needed some time. I didn't like what was going on. I didn't feel good. I didn't want to get COVID on the road. I'm a fat dude with shitty lungs. There were my reasons. Plus, my daughter, COVID had fucked up my daughter a little bit. Staying home from school those 3 months in LA, 4 months, it was just, so I decided, let me sit tight. I was getting the weed company started, right? I didn't really want a podcast. I didn't know what to do. And 2 months in, somebody called me with a book deal, and they're like, if you don't want to do this, think about it. And I was like, let's do it. The people were like, we really want the book at this point. I was talking to the guy for 5 fucking years, Lee.
Jesus.
I was trying to write that book since 2006.
Yeah, since I met you at least.
Yeah. And I had this chance. And I'm like, the money they're giving me isn't going to be great. It's not like I can fucking whatever. But it'll keep me in chicken cutlets for 5 or 6 months till I decide. That came from nowhere, okay? Then I got another call one day, and it was one of the best calls I ever got in my life. And she said that these people want to do business with you. They want to give you this amount of money. And I was like, whoa, let me call you back. Because I just had an earthquake. You know what I'm saying? Like a month before. This is when it happened, like a month before, maybe, mid-October. I was here since August. And I had no plans on doing anything. I was barely getting out of the house just to go to Jimmy's to watch football. And fucking, she called me. And she goes, I got this for you. And I thought it was a fucking dream. And I took it. And I felt guilty for a month or two. And I'll tell you what happened. I thought about 2 things. I thought about the time I bumped into Slash at the Riviera Hotel. And I bumped into something I had heard early on. When all these idiots are like, Lee, you still doing the joke, dude? And you're like, yeah. Tell us a joke. Let's see how funny. You always get your cousins or people to say that to you. And then they're like, hey, how much you making? And you're like, nothing. I'm just an apprentice. I'm an open. Right. And they're like, you're not getting no money, you fucking idiot, and all this shit. And a wise man told me, every time you go to these open mics, anytime you go to a clinic, anytime you go do a free spot that takes an hour, you're punching in. You're punching in. We discussed this 1,000 times.
Yeah.
You're punching in. Yeah, but Joey, it cost me $50 in gas. Shut your mouth. They're giving you 15 minutes of one of the best comics in the world. He's doing you a fucking solid. And he, all you're worried about is a limo. And you get those guys. Like, if I'm working with him, I want a limo. Doug, you got 8 minutes. You just bombed at the fucking Silver Frog on a Tuesday night. And people lose their minds because somebody told them they were funny or whatever. But all that shit, when people rip you off, when you go there was a year that this woman didn't want me in her clubs. And I would call every week for a guest set, and she'd give it to me because she hated me. But I knew I was going to get better from doing those guest sets and showing her that I was better than her. Like, just because she wasn't going to book me, that means I wasn't going to work her room. I'm working your fucking room. Because if you don't put me in there, I'm going to call the bar owner or the club owner and ask him. And he's going to go, why didn't you book Joey Diaz? So,
right.
Well, that day I realized all that shit I did for free in Seattle and Denver. And when I first moved to LA, the people who put me through shit, I was going to fucking, what's that shit town? Remember, what's the road I used to always goof on? The
101?
No, 170.
Oh, the 170. Oh, yeah.
If you go up to Sherman, up to 170, you end up somewhere in some
Sherman
town.
Way.
No, not Sherman Way, a different town, like an hour away.
Okay.
You know how many times I used to drive up there for $20
Oh, shit.
on a Sunday night when I first moved to LA? A, to get a spot before Mitzi made me a host. A, to do a spot, and B, for the $20 because there was another place on the way home that you stopped and they gave you $25. That place where I went to on Sunday nights for the $20, Lee, I swear to God, it was the only thing to do. I forget where the fuck it was. It wasn't far from LA. They would pack them in on Sunday nights. That was the only thing to do. It was either that and look for Martians. I don't know what they did up there. I forget the name of the town. If you remind me, I'll tell you.
Okay.
And the guy would give you $20 with a straight face. And you had to pay for your own dinner. I remember all those things, Lee. And those are the things that 25 years from now, let me ask you a question. And I know I'm going to get fucking railed for this. I'll name 10 people to you.
Okay.
That get a check every year for them being them. They don't even have to leave their house. Margaret Cho gets a deal every year. She's Korean. They love Margaret Cho so much that they'll say, well, let's get a Korean actress on hold. Give her $250,000 and hold her for the year. Every year the networks have a write-off, which means, you know what? Call Lee Syatt in here. We'll do a Jewish musical and we'll see how it goes, whatever. And that's when you're 50. They'll call you in. They know you're not going to write a Jewish musical, but it's going to make you 50 large. You can pay for your insurance. You follow me? So Hollywood always takes care. Sarah Silverman. She's on TV doing a fucking pet show now.
Yeah.
I don't think she wanted to do that, but they called and they said, we think this is a good idea. We're going to give you this type of money. You got to come down and play with pets for an hour. You're not going to take that money. Oh, well, Sarah Silverman's a sellout, bitch. She's been doing it for 30 fucking years. At this point, yeah, because you put that work in. People will call you with the easiest shit, and you'll go, what? And you go, oh, that's for that time. And all these things will come to you.
You feel bad about it?
Huh?
Like you felt bad about it? I don't know why you'd feel bad about it. Isn't that everyone's goal?
At first, well, it wasn't my goal. I'm Spanish. I like to work. I like to mow lawns. I like to paint houses and drink La Bamba juice. But it bothered me the first 2 or 3 months.
Wow. I'm surprised to hear that.
And then to settle, I had to go 30 fucking years. 10 of those were real. You know, living in a car, living with a stripper in Seattle, fucking living in a basement in Boulder, you know, shoplifting tents and bringing them back. I mean, those 10 years were real. But I was thinking about something, Lee. I left Boulder, Colorado, June 30th of 1995. And before the 10th anniversary, I released The Longest Yard.
Okay.
So it took me 10 years from the time I left Boulder. I already had 5 years under my belt, 4 years of comedy. And before that, I had Spider-Man and Taxi and Analyze That. But for me, it took 10 years to get something that I really wanted. And it was The Longest Yard. It was 14 years in. I was at the right place at the right time. I didn't get it because I was better than anybody. I got it because I made myself funnier for the role, you know, and I got it. Not because I was better. I was at the right place at the right fucking time. It was every other movie I had gotten, I got killed in the beginning, or it was always some drama. And this was the first time I was going to be in a whole movie.
Right.
10 years just to let comics know. From the time I said, fuck Boston, fuck New York, fuck this, wherever you're living, fuck Oklahoma. It took me another 5 years of struggling. And, you know, LA was not no picnic the first 3 years, sleeping on Ralphie's couches and doing coke. And it wasn't an easy journey.
And didn't you not get booked for the whole time on The Longest Yard? Like you got booked for like a short time and they liked you and kept you on for longer?
Yeah, the contract was like a 4-week contract. And then after the go get him a Diet Coke, that was it.
Yeah, dude, like that's why like I can't imagine you feeling bad forever. Because like I would imagine you felt pretty bad when you saw people who weren't as funny as you getting opportunities.
Well, every young comic is going to see that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that should make you 20% angry and give you 80% ambition to say to yourself, if he did it, I could do it. And if he did it, I shouldn't be mad at him. He opened up a door for me. Now this lets me know what I want to do.
I try not to be, I guess for me, the word would be jealous. I'm more jealous than angry. I'm not angry at anyone for being successful. But when I see people that I feel like maybe I'm better than or as good as doing other stuff, I'm like, God, I wish that was me.
That's when you have to just focus on your journey and go, fuck it. I got to get as funny as him. And you don't wish him any harm.
No.
You don't want him to fall off a train or nothing, but you go, I'm going to be as funny as him in a year.
Mm-hmm.
He could do that. I could do that. You know, it's like when you start with a guy. There's always that guy that you started 2 weeks before, or he started 3 weeks after you in Boston. And after about 3 months, you become friends and you're doing the same things. But he got into Laugh Boston. You got into City Winery, you know, and all of a sudden you're like, what am I doing wrong? And then he gets you in over at Laugh Boston. Now it's worse. You're emceeing and he's a feature, you know.
Right.
And you know what? It should mess with you a tiny bit. Maybe let you know you didn't work hard enough. Maybe you weren't at the right place at the right time. You know, maybe you rubbed the owner of the Laugh Boston wrong. You know, there's 1,000 things that are beyond your control. You were at a club one night, open mic, and the manager from Laugh Boston came in, and you had 3 beers in you, and you went up to him, when am I going to get booked at Laugh Boston? I'm a funny Jew. Okay. Check, please.
Right.
There's 1,000 variables. But at the end, you look at that person, you go, God bless him. And then you go on your mission. And that's when you put the fireman hat on, like we discussed. It's a fireman hat. Things are going to hit you, and that's why it's cut that way, so it rolls off. And you're moving head first. Like, you always want to keep your chin up, but in this point of your life, you're working like this, and you're damaging your third eye because you know you got to steamroll past the bullshit. And there's going to be a lot of it. Some of it is self-inflicted. Some of it is you bring it on yourself, and some of it is nature. Not everybody's going to like you, Lee.
Right.
You look at those people and go, you know what? Don't go, I'll be back here in 3 years when I'm headlining. Fuck you. You don't know what you... Thank you for your time.
Right.
And just go, someday he's going to call me for a gig.
I hope so. I always...
Very humbly, very humble. Like, you know. And you're going to go, okay. And if you're an asshole, you're going to go, fuck you. But you're going to go, okay, I get it now. And you go down there, you give him a big hug. He cracks a joke. You crack a joke. And you both know why you're there.
Because you're selling tickets.
There's no reason to bring it up, or you both know why you're there. He needs you to sell alcohol, and you need him to sell the fucking tickets. Or he needs you to sell tickets, and he needs to sell alcohol. And once you realize that, that's a very tough swallow for comics.
Yeah.
That's one that we'll get to in a few months.
Okay.
That's a very tough swallow for comics. There's a lot of tough swallows for comics, but you gotta, listen, I've always said, when you're a comic, you're a hooker. You're no different in the beginning. You're just trying to get the best deal. It's our instinct. It's nothing that you're wrong with you, or my mother didn't raise me right. She burned me with cigarettes. No. You just fucking... And it takes some people some time to get it. But once those motherfuckers get it, you're going to have a problem.
Right. And because it's very hard. But it's, I don't know. Like, it's hard. I can see where people would drop off. Because I've only been doing it in my 6th year. And like, to keep pushing past, like, people not responding to your calls or things like that. It's like, oh my God.
Very tough. And that's why sometimes you got to get out there. Like, because you don't know who's going to be at that open mic playing big shot. I'm the assistant to the assistant manager of Club Royale. I speak to the booker every day. And
right.
I had people come up to me with the wildest fucking stories. Wildest stories. About their father knew this guy and he'd make a call for me. And it was absurd. And you know what? Some people did. I just wasn't ready.
Really? You weren't? What happened?
Where you been doing comedy shows at? New York Comedy Club, and this player. Do you know this guy? That? No, not really. I heard of him. He's fucking great, that guy. Okay. Are you getting paid for your gigs? No, but I'm fucking funny, man. I'm telling you. Okay. We'll call you.
Right.
We're knuckleheads. We're knuckleheads. There's nothing wrong with that. At least we know that going in. But know that in time you'll get it. I was talking about my wife before. Mm-hmm. In 2003, my wife got sick and tired of me coming home with no cash. Every weekend I got mugged by a Colombian. I got hit in the head. I slept over, so I had to pay for a new plane ticket. And some of the stories were true. I used to buy those plane tickets on those services.
Okay.
And that's the tough education when you're a comic. You're trying to save $10. Now the club wants you to stay an extra night. When you go to add that plane ticket, they want $800.
Fuck.
Now you're stuck there for a week, because if you give up that ticket, or you got to tell this guy no, he wanted you to stay.
And you can't do that.
My plane ticket. Okay, next time. There ain't gonna be no next time, kid. He just gave you the opportunity of your life. It's the thing I like the most about comedy. Every day was a new adventure. Ooh. You hear that little bass drum behind me?
Yeah, of course I heard it. What do you mean? It sounds like you shoot yourself.
No, it wasn't no shit. I thought it was at first. That's why I had to bend over to stop it, to put the clamp on it just in case. But tip-top Magoo.
Thank God.
I think about my life from June 13th, July 13th of 80, whenever the fuck I got on stage. 91 to fucking 2003, and I wouldn't trade it for anything, Lee. That was an education that I can't even write in a book. I can't describe it to you. I don't even know half of it, but I do know this. And I was telling you this when we were doing the church in LA, that, man, Dion and I did something in the main room that I remember I learned on one of those triple rooms.
Right.
Like there was a lot of times I'd be in a theater in Milwaukee or New York, and something would happen and I would roll with it. And I'd go, wow, that's something that I learned 24 years ago.
And you would remember the show where you learned it?
Not the show, but I remember where I learned that. That pause, or the way you look at the audience, or just something, a special way that you did something, and you go, oh, shit. You know, it starts coming back to you, and you see the importance of those years.
Right.
You see the importance of those years. You know, when you look at a great jiu-jitsu guy like Roger Gracie, he'll tell you, I do everything with basics. Roger Gracie doesn't do anything. Even if you know Roger Gracie's going to mount you and choke you, you're not going to stop him. It'll take him 35 minutes, but he's going to fucking do it. He's going to stay on that move and commit to it. I don't know what my point was. The edibles are kicking in.
But how do you, I guess the last question I have is like, how, if you're not like really like,
Whoa. What was that? Did you just burp or something?
No, I coughed.
You what?
I coughed. I think I coughed.
Nah, I can smell the edible burp from here. How many milligrams you take tonight? 10?
I took 100 again.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did.
You took those pharmacy hundreds. You didn't take one of my killer doses. When you take those, you got to take 2, Lee. They're giving you
200.
Yeah, well, I can't take 200. Why not? What's the problem, man?
Because a lot of time I took 200, I passed out.
Well, these aren't even 100s.
Well, but then why am I doubling it?
Because you only took like 40 in real life. These are.
I did not take 40.
I can tell.
Give me any credit. No, you can't.
I can, dog.
Look at my eyes.
With you. Yeah, look at your eyes. What?
What do you mean, what?
I can tell by your characteristics.
What, that I'm conscious, or what do you mean?
No, I can just tell, you know, you're only eating 60 in there, maybe 68.
No.
You got to double up on those to make it 140. You got to start training. You're coming to New York next week. You don't know when I'm going to show up.
Oh, I'm always used to it.
I know. So one of those nights, you're going to have a hard time making it home because I'm sticking ABXs in every fucking in your goddamn body, plus mushrooms, plus I'm going to make you eat one of those falafel dogs with the sad bread umbrella.
Oh.
And you're going to get back to your room. You're going to be eating mushrooms on the edible, and then you're going to shit blood, and you're going to find out what life really is. That's what life is about when you're the comedian. When you wake up and you shit blood, and you're like, man.
How often are you shitting blood? I don't think that's comedy. I don't think comedy makes you shit blood on a regular basis.
It should, because your nerves are shattered. But like, I was doing comedy about 10 years, about 8 years, and I started going out in Miami Improv. And they used to have one of those frozen drink places.
Okay.
I forget what it was called. Fucking deliciously. Right across from it. And they had, like, everything was like 90 proof, but they had a drink that was beet red.
Right.
Tasted like gasoline and turpentine with a little smoothie in it, like a little bit of like a slushy.
Right.
It was 140 fucking proof.
Jesus Christ.
So as soon as I got off the stage as a feature act, I would run across and get like a white cream one and a 140 one. I cross it across the street to the condo. I put it in the refrigerator and I cut up my Coke, get it ready for the night, put a package aside for the victim that was coming over later. And then I would go back out on the prowl, right?
You just got off stage and you run across to the condo to cut your Coke up?
I would pick up the package before I got on stage. The Colombian would come to the bar. at the Miami Improv. This is 98. I don't even know why I'm telling you this. I don't even know how we got here. The guy would come to the bar. He was the coolest motherfucker in the world. He'd ask me, do you need something? He'd call the club.
Right.
I'd be waiting. It'd be like 7:45. Joey, it's for you. Hi, how you doing? Hey, this is the Colombian. You need anything? Yeah, 100. He would come to the bar. I wasn't even on stage yet. I didn't have a dime in my pocket. I would have to go to the club manager and go, dog, come on, I need a yardstick real quick. Take it out of my pay. And he started, come on, dog, give me the yardstick. In fact, give me 120 because I need to get Chinese food tomorrow and I got to get clothes. I wasn't getting no clothes. I go to the bar and I put my $100 on the bar, order a drink. He would give me change. And then the Colombian would take the Coke, put it in a napkin, and throw it on the floor. And I would step on it. And then he'd walk out. I wouldn't touch it. I'd have a little drink to get me started. I'd go up on stage, rip it, get off the stage. The Coke would be in my pocket, burning a hole in that motherfucker. I'd run right to the fucking juice place. I'd get myself 2 cocktails and run right across the street to the condo, put one away, cut up the package, save some for later, and then I'd go back out. And for every drink I got at the Improv, I got one more of those fucking red drinks over there.
Oh,
so I would eat a bunch of pills and fucking drink and do blow. I didn't know what I was doing. Once you leave the Improv, you go to the Dolphin Bar. And people would just give you shit in there. So I didn't know what I was doing. So I'd wake up in the morning and my sink and my toilet would be filled with what I thought was blood. And I would go, fuck it, c'est la vie. I'm living like Lenny Bruce. Fuck it, this is it.
Yeah, but you're actually shitting blood.
What else would I be doing having this type of fun? Like at that time, I was having a lot of fun as a feature act. I never even thought about headlining. I didn't want to headline. My life was such a party as a fucking feature act. I'm doing 25 minutes. I'm killing. I'm at the store getting ready to kill these people. And now I'm getting to these clubs. I'm getting $500, no plane ticket. But at that time, I was getting a plane ticket because they gave me their credit card one time. So I was just getting every fucking card. Oh. But anyway.
You earned it.
My point from Miami, for the longest time,
right,
I would puke in the middle of the night.
Right.
And I'd puke in the toilet, and then the toilet would sink, and all that was left was red stuff. And I'd go, oh, well. It was a good week in Miami.
Yeah, but then you're talking about shitting blood.
What?
Then you're talking about shitting blood. What makes you do that?
I didn't know. I would puke and then I'd flush.
I know you puke. Oh, yeah.
And what was living around was that red stuff. So I would go, I must have took a shit in the middle of the night and shit blood. And this is what, dog, at that point, I didn't care. I was missing a tooth in the back that used to squirt at people. People like, you got to fix that. You're going to die. I lived with an abscess for 10 years. You know what I'm saying? Every time it gets swollen, I put a Coke rock in it and pop that motherfucker with a needle in the middle of the night. It was insane.
How often would you spray it at someone? How often would it fill up enough till they could spray it?
Whenever I wanted it to go away. You know what I'm saying? It was like that rose, people having their jacket and they take smell the rose, then they hit you. Next time I'm on Rogan, I'll remind them, when we'd be sitting in a circle in the back of the Comedy Store, this had to be 99, 98, and this would swell up right here, and it would shoot this way because I ripped the tooth out.
Ooh,
Dog, I would go home, get a bottle of Jack and Boulder and a wrench, and I would just work it all night until it came out and shit. So when I broke it, there was still a little piece left in there that got infected.
Yeah.
So it would swell up. So finally I had the balls to put a needle in there and squeeze, and it was terrible. After that, it would fill up once a month, and I would just go, and it would just go.
Did you ever do it that anyone saw you, or was it always like a surprise?
It's Joe Rogan. I would make a noise to Joe Rogan, like a look, and he'd go, oh my God. And I'd stick my thing and I go, and the guy walking, it would hit him right in the jacket.
Ruin their fucking night. Can you imagine?
They didn't even know about it.
Yeah, like they didn't even something else.
2 days later, they go, Jesus Christ, a pigeon shit in my jacket.
Oh, I can't believe you could hit people with it. That's some good accuracy.
Doug, please, you have no idea. Listen, I got to take 2 steps to the rear and get out of here. This edible's hit me hard tonight because I ate the dark chocolate.
Oh, yeah?
You know, that's a 2,500 milligram bar. I didn't eat the whole thing tonight, but I ate like 6 ABXs. I got nowhere to go, dog, tomorrow.
I would hope not. Like that tea you were talking about drinking was worse than what they gave Michael Jackson. Like, you're just talking about this shit like it's normal. Like, yeah, of course.
A few more because I'm waking up tomorrow with 2 black eyes, like I saw the eclipse with no glasses on. These fucking pussies. They're gonna wake up tomorrow. Oh my God! Yeah.
You never won?
Yeah. No, I don't want no fuck. Look at you. You're like a gay Batman. You're like a gay Robin and shit. You headed to Club 66. You know what I'm saying?
I think I look cool.
And that works as a double. After you bang them in the ass, you can whip them with that. You know what I'm saying? You pretty bitch. All right, I gotta go. And now for a word from our sponsors. You know what I'm saying?